All right, here we are. Welcome back. This is the Fight on Montana podcast, guys. Thank you for listening. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get podcasts. Definitely on Apple because that's where most people are listening from, but Spotify
That's
as
where I
well.
listen from.
Exactly, man. So also check us out on YouTube at FCS Fans Nation's YouTube channel, which a lot of people watch that. I don't know why. They're big old nice mugs here. I guess they want to look at. So
Well, I know, like my folks watch on there. I don't know if they watch, but they listen on there because
okay,
it's easy to get YouTube. I think for
yeah.
people that don't have like all the iPhones and other things, I think YouTube's an easy access point.
Easy access point. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about that. So, guys, we're gonna try to get through this this game that we watched this weekend.
Yeah, pretty wild.
We yeah. Before we do that, guys, we're gonna kind of do a recap of some things that are happening around this weekend. So, let's get into a Grizz roundup here. Soccer. They just continue to be the team in the Missoula right now.
Heck yeah.
Uh, that they're played Northern Colorado to a 1-0 away game win. So that's awesome.
Very
They
nice.
are currently at 8-2 and 2-0 in the conference.
It's
They've got a
awesome.
big one coming up this week, guys, Thursday. If you guys can make it at 3 p.m. against Idaho in Missoula. If you can't make it there it's on ESPN Plus. Sunday, we've got another big one, 1 p.m. kickoff in Missoula against Eastern Washington. So those are the games this week. After this week, they will only have 4 games left. And one of the 4 is at home. And so after this weekend, you're only gonna have one time to be able to see them at home. So definitely go support thwhich is awesome, guys. As we want to support them. The Big Sky Conference tournament is in Missoula this year, which that starts November 6th on a Wednesday, which is going to be awesome. It's nice to have that here, and so yeah, definitely go support them. Watch it on ESPN Plus if you can't go out and watch the games, and they're playing great. So,
Heck yeah.
softball starts their kind of fall conference or the fall slate of games this Sunday. They play Carroll at 11 o'clock, and then they will play Providence at 3 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next week they'll play again at home or in Billings. Sorry. So they've got some good games going on, guys. So definitely go support them in the softball team. I believe it's a new coach. So
I think so.
I think it's Ewing is I think the name. I'm not, I might be mistaken. So if I'm not, I am. I'm sorry, guys. Volleyball had a tough week. This week they lost to Weber State 2-3. Thursday, and then they wound up losing 1-3 against Idaho State. So they have not won a conference game yet, guys. And so they play this week against Idaho on Thursday at Dahlberg Arena. So if you have nothing to do on Thursday or Saturday, like I don't know what you're doing. Like you should probably be going either to soccer and then volleyball and then a football game too. So let's kind of support these ladies and these guys. So
Yeah. Well,
again,
go ahead. I was just saying. I thought you were moving on. I was to say volleyball also has
Yep.
Saturday night against the EW in Eastern Washington at 7 p.m. So you could catch the football game.
Yep.
And then go watch volleyball.
Exactly. Well, on that Thursday, they have that soccer game.
Yeah.
Soccer game at 3, and then go watch some volleyball at 7. So definitely some sports if you want to go watch some sports this weekend for homecoming week. And then I think you have some updates on homecoming week, right, Luke?
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing is on Friday night, if you want to check it out, they have the Yell Night Pep Rally, which starts at 8 p.m. at the Oval. And I'll go through some more things on homecoming for everybody, because this is one of those games where we get a lot of people that come in town for all the different events and stuff. So so on Tuesday, they have the Hello Walk from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Hello Walk will take place on campus in front of Turner Hall. students and employees paint hello in a welcoming variety of styles and languages, like all over like the sidewalks
Oh,
and stuff.
cool.
So that's coming up. And then on Thursday, October 10th, it's Grizz on Tap from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Grizz on Tap will take place at Red's Bar downtown on Ryman Street, downtown Missoula. So you can go down there and have some beers and stuff at Red's with a bunch of alumni. And then they're doing the Distinguished Alumni Awards on Friday, October 11th at 5:30 p.m. The ceremony and panel discussion will take place at the University Center Ballroom, which I believe is on the 3rd floor still. Maybe the 2nd floor. It's been a while. And then on Friday night, also the Yell Night Pep Rally at 8 p.m. So the Yell Night Pep Rally will take place at the UM Oval and feature the UM marching band, the Grizzly football team with Coach Bobby Houck, and lighting of the M ceremony. I know that it's pretty cool. They get Houck up there and he'll get a little fired up and stuff, and the guys get fired up. So, which we need a little bit of that after this last weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
And then for all of you that are in town that want to enjoy the homecoming parade, the homecoming parade starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. Staging will be in downtown Missoula near the intersection of Higgins and Spruce Street. The parade will move south along Higgins Avenue, across Bear Tracks Bridge, and turn east into University Avenue towards campus. Then the alumni tailgate party, that starts at noon and goes to 3. After the homecoming parade, be sure to check out the alumni tailgate hosted at the River Bowl near the Adams Center in Washington Grizzly Stadium for some pregame fun. So just wanted to pass along all that stuff from the Alumni Association. So we get a lot of people that come in this weekend, and hopefully you're able to catch some soccer, volleyball, and all the festivities.
Awesome. Well, there's, like we said, there's stuff to do. If you guys don't have something to do, definitely go support the university and these athletes. So,
Absolutely.
Well, should we rip off the Band-Aid?
Yeah, let's get into this wild game. I tell you, like we had our points and stuff. Like, yeah. I expected points, but not like this.
Not like this.
Yeah, my goodness.
Well, one thing, I've got to address like something that really kind of bothered me.
Sure.
On the press conference last Monday with Houck. I understand, being who you are and everything like that, but the way that it came off to me, I understand that people can say stupid stuff, and you don't have to treat people that way. Like it just rubbed me the wrong way of taking it a little too far. But that's just me. I just thought the way things were said with calling somebody a jackass and everything like that, and putting his foot in his mouth. And you guys can go listen to it. But to me, it was uncalled for. You could handle all that stuff behind closed doors if you want to. I didn't think it was necessary. So it was just something that I wanted to get out there. I don't know if anybody, I had a lot of people come up or call me and say, did you see this? So just wanted to kind of mention that, and see what you guys think. If you guys thought it was okay, let me know and say, hey, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But it just rubbed me the wrong way. So
yeah, actually, so it's funny because like I didn't notice it. I was just like,
yeah.
And then when I went back and watched, I was like, oh geez, that was kind of like, I think it was just like so fast that I was I think I'm used to him trying to be kind of coarse that it went right over me. But yeah.
Well, I didn't hear it at first too, and I got a friend that called me and said, "Did you?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And he's like, "You didn't hear what happened?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll have to listen to it again." And yeah, it was just like, whoa. But well, let's move on. I just wanted to address that. I want to hear what you guys think, so get a hold of us and what you guys think. But this football game against Weber State, it definitely had a lot of scoring, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one. I mean, the good thing, I guess, is from the Eastern game to Weber game, our offense really didn't slow down much. They were still, hitting on all strides. There, even with that though, there's certain things that watching their offense could even get better. Like there was plays that we missed that we could have scored even more. Like there was guys that were in wide open routes that were not getting to that check down to see them wide open. And for as good as the offense was, it's like there's room to, I think, gain there and be even better. Like we're still, even though we're getting all these yards and all these points, especially against a decent Weber. The Weber's defense is good.
Decent,
like, I was impressed that we're able to do that. One thing today, we were talking about press conferences, and this is something I think that really shows like that our players care a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They asked, Osmo, about, like the game and stuff.
Yeah.
And they didn't ask him about his fumble, but that's what he talked about.
Oh, yeah, he didn't apologize for it. Yeah.
Yeah, he apologizes, and you can tell how much it hurt him to fumble and feel like he let the team down with that.
Yeah.
He's like, I won't let that happen again. And so I guess for me, there's people out there that bash on these players and stuff. And they don't think they're trying hard enough. I'm telling you, no one cares more than these guys out there.
Yeah.
They want to win so freaking bad, and they take it to heart. Like they are so passionate about this game and stuff. And that just showed that too. Like, I mean, you watch that fumble. There's a guy that's got his leg pulled up one way, like stretching him out. Another guy's here. Our guys are trying to push. I mean, it was the damn whistle should have been blown like years ago. Now with this scrum pile thing, they don't blow the whistle as fast. Which my bet is that by next year they're going to change that, because it's like guys are going to get hurt. Like people are throwing punches in there. I mean, it's like dang the old piles when people would be under the pile and you're getting just beat up. That was happening as they're carrying him down the field, and so it's unfortunate. And I don't put that on him at all. Like that was just a bad spot. I don't care who you are. Good luck keeping a hold of that ball right there.
Yeah.
I really think the refs should have blown the whistle. Someone could get hurt. Like that's how linemen get rolled up. I mean, that was a bad situation. Yeah. And so, but yeah, I mean, I doubt Osmo, you're going to see him carrying that ball. Like, he's never going to drop another one. I mean, again, he didn't drop it. It was just a bad situation. So, anyways, just wanted to address that, because I think there's sometimes people think that, they these guys are giving up. There's no give up in these guys. They want to win.
No.
Every minute
and like we were down 28-10. And if they were quitting like that would have been it.
There wasn't a
came back.
No quitting them. Yeah.
No, there was no quit at all. And so that's always awesome to see is the exuberance and just the effort is always there.
Lots of
25 again, that fourth quarter, you better not be going to sleep in the fourth quarter, because the last two games against Weber and against Eastern Washington, like it's been a slot of just scoring in the fourth.
If you had no dog in the fight, these last two games, you're like, man, these are great football games, because it's back and forth. And especially if you love offense, it's like, I mean, they were just back and forth battles.
Yeah.
And I mean, and we're talking effort. There was a play where one of our guys missed the tackle in the flat, and then he ran him down way down the field. And I was that is freaking effort. Like, they're still trying their butts off. So,
So 55-48, guys, overtime loss against Weber State at home. Just to kind of go over these numbers with you guys, we had 26 first downs, so they're 22. We had 172 yards rushing. They had 177. We averaged about 4.8, and then 4 rushing touchdowns. We had 355 passing yards. They had 364. The big difference there is those big bombs that they got. Our average was 7.9. Their average was like 13 on an attempt, but 19.2 on average for a completion, which is nuts. 6 touchdowns are 2 touchdowns there. Total offense, 527 yards for the Grizz, 541 for Weber State. Again, it was pretty high. We had 2 fumbles. We lost 2 fumbles. They had 2 fumbles and they lost 1.
Do you have the time of possession on there?
Time of possession.
The reason I'm asking is at halftime.
Oh, they only had the ball for like 16 minutes.
Yeah, because at halftime we had it for like 20 in the first. half.
So
It was lopsided on our side.
34-55 for the Grizz, 25-05 for Weber State.
And usually when you see big scoring and there's one like that, it's because, again, big plays.
Huge plays.
That's what killed us was those big plays.
Yep. Kickoff return, they averaged 34.8 on a kickoff returns.
Well, when you take one to the house, that
that does, yes. 34.8. We averaged 24.3. No interceptions. Third down percentage, we were at 8 of 14. They're at 4 of 10. Red zone scores, we were 4 of 4. We're so good in the red zone too this year. It just kills me. We're in like the 90 percentage.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. They were 3 of 3 in the red zone. We've only had two sacks apiece for each team. 2-point conversions, we were 1 of 2. They were 0-0, and both teams were 2 for 2 for field goals. So, man alive, it hurts to see these games like this, and it's like my blood pressure just can't do it, man. And you said, Fife, he again had the start. Ayat wasn't there for like one series, I believe, 1 of 4, but Ayat 30 of 41, 344, 2 touchdowns, 2 sacks. And I think we have some questions about the quarterback position, but there were some misses, and I don't know how many times I saw Bergen open down the middle of the field wide open, and if it was hit, it would be a touchdown. And so that kind of alarms me, because then we're doing the passes that are double coverage or that are harder to make than the ones that are there, right?
Like White had an epic day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
he had 11 catches for 163.
Yeah, that's his biggest day ever. I mean, it's huge. He was killing it out there, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But what gets me with that is, there's times when we're throwing it to him and he's making these plays into like double coverage, or he's just, got really good coverage on him. When, to Adam's point, I wish we could get the all 22 footage, because you'll see it, and we got guys wide ass open for scores.
Yes.
Taking the second read or the check down read, and it's like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Like, if we could get to that other read, it's open. It's like, and that happened in the Eastern game too. I think Bobby said it on Wednesdays, where he's like, I thought he was throwing it to White and he threw it to Bergen or whoever, or maybe Fonts, that one of them was wide open. He's like, why isn't he throwing it? And then he threw it to the other guy for the touchdown, but it was covered again. And so that's one thing that's just, I'm not saying Fife's doing a good job, but like, I feel like he's not getting through all his progressions. Like, there's definitely, he could be better. Like, there's more things he can do. So, and I for me, I guess I still think Ayat has the higher ceiling. And at what point do you go, okay, like, that's our future and stuff? Like, I'm not saying we're there yet. Like, we have one conference loss, but I still think, like, if he can get to those other ones and score even more, why not give him that chance? So,
do you think, like, my playing devil's advocate here, do you think Bobby will do that? Because now he has a upperclassman now that has shown that can do a good job and can do it. Do you think he's going to go back to the freshman, where the freshman might make mistakes?
Yes.
You think he will?
I think Ayat starts this week.
I don't think he will. I think Bobby, I don't think he will do it.
Why don't you think he'll start?
I don't know. I don't think he's going to go back to him. I think that he's going to say, well, he's 30. Fife has 30 of 41 for this week. What was he like last week? So he's missed like on 8 passes. I don't think that he'll go back where you're getting enough points. Why would you jinx it, right?
I don't know. Like, I get this feeling like there's chinks in that armor on Fife, and I think
there's huge chinks,
and that's where
honestly, guys, and this is not me. Like, Fife has done a great job.
He's doing really good.
The passes that are easy, and I had this down, he does not make great easy passes. The easy passes, the nice lobs out to the side, the short distance passes where they need touch, like he does not make those very well.
Well, and I think Ayat has better escapability too. Like
He
has,
does. Yep.
and that's why I think me personally, I think they're going to go back to Ayat. I think
I hope so.
the reason they went with Fife in this game was Ayat was just hurt, right? He was hurt, but then also Fife just got Player of the Week, and they're like, okay, let's let him. Let's just see if we can keep this rolling. Like I was like, okay, I get it. And then when they brought Ayat in, he was like, he had a few mistakes. He hit off. That wasn't his fault. He's throwing that pass, and the lineman gets into it, and he goes off the back of his helmet.
Yeah.
So, like, I really think that they're going to go back to Ayat. I just have this gut feeling that, like, all right, we gave him this shot, that he's missing all the. If he played a great game, but there's all these things he's missing downfield. It's like, if you think Ayat could hit those guys, we're scoring even more. Like,
see, and my thing is he's a junior right now, right?
Fife's a junior. Yeah.
And I know he hasn't had too much time to do this, but if he's a junior and he's making these mistakes, this might be the highest that he can get to, right?
That's the highest. I think Ayat has the higher ceiling.
I definitely know that Ayat has the higher ceiling.
Yeah.
It's just, and this is backed up with what had happened in the past. Will Bobby play the freshman? Will Bobby play the person that is the best talent or the best person? Because on both sides of the ball, there's players right now that should be probably playing that are better than some people that aren't playing because they're younger.
You're talking about Loud, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we both talk about that all the time. And he got a lot more.
Yes.
And I think that we're going to see him like full-fledged this next week after what happened.
Because
I do.
I guess we can get to it when we go to defense or something, but
Let's keep going on the offense.
Yes.
I disagree with you that I think Ayat's going to start. So we're finally not agreeing with each other on here.
I hope. I hope he does.
I think Houck's going to go a different route and go, bam, here you go. Starting. So I can't wait to listen to Riley. I love listening to Riley. If you don't,
I know, right?
Just to let everybody know, like you get on Victory. You can also go on like the Grizz Sports or the Grizz app and listen to the pregame with all those guys. But like if you listen about an hour before, Riley will give you the starting lineup. And like I always look forward to it to see like who, because Houck tells them who's actually going to start and stuff.
I like that 2 hours before the game you can listen to content.
Yeah, I think it's so cool. Like I have my radio, like I hook it to my big Bluetooth speaker. And so we just like my whole family, we listen to it and stuff and do everything until the games because it drives me nuts. ESPN Plus, it doesn't start until like 4 minutes before the game, and then it's just
right?
rotating thing, and then it's like it's not until exactly 1 o'clock that it gets going, and it's like
ESPN Plus. If you guys want some like pregame content, like Luke and I would do that for you guys.
Oh my, free.
Like that would be, wouldn't that be so cool?
That would be fun as hell.
That would be so cool.
Like half hour before the game and just like this right here, and just we can talk to everybody and people can give us hell for making stupid
do like a live podcast that
that'd be
people can get on and say stuff. Like that would be so cool.
Yeah, that would
get us ESPN Plus. You guys can get a hold of us if you guys want us to do that. So definitely get a hold of us. Rushing, man. Nick Osmo had a game. The Nick and Eli both had 12 carries. And
Eli was catching a lot more too. They were throwing.
He was
all of a sudden. I mean, that one he was like, "Hey, I'm open," waving his arm back and forth. It's like that's what I'm talking about.
He stiff armed that guy too. Like,
oh my gosh,
man.
Yeah.
So Osmo 71 yards. Gilman had 69 with 3 touchdowns, which they were both averaging about 5.8, 5.9 yards a carry. And like you said, Gilman 2 receptions for 79 yards and 1 touchdown. That 68-yard touchdown, that was awesome. Did
you see the nickname I gave him?
No.
On Twitter. So after that happened, I was tweeting out during the game a little bit, and I think we should call him Mr. Breakaway.
Mr. Breakaway?
I think that should be his nickname, is Mr. Breakaway. Because like he always, every game, he gets one of these breakaways where he just stiff arms somebody or comes through and has this breakaway run down the field. I'm like, that's just, I feel like that'd be a cool nickname, is Mr. Breakaway for Eli.
Mr. Touchdown.
Mr. Touchdown. Heck yeah.
Awesome. Fonts, he did pretty good with receiving too, 5 for 44. But yeah, Junior had 5 for 33 as well. So I feel bad for Junior because like some of those that returns that he's had are just right there that are
Oh, close.
So need one block.
Well,
And
especially in a game like that, when they
yeah.
got one run back, I kept saying, God, if we got one, because that can juice your whole sideline up.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, come on, give us one where you can get. And they were kicking to him for a while.
Yep.
Even them squibbers, I mean, like I kept waiting for him and Childs to do like the pitch play, and he came around or something with that. Or
yeah,
it's just he's so close. I feel like we're gonna get one.
Oh yeah,
soon.
The other side guys, Richie Munoz did a really good job. 19 for 28, 364 with 6 touchdowns, 2 sacks. He really did a good job of being elusive. He's a big guy. He's hard to take down. And he was able to get out of the pocket when he needed to, get away from tackles, break some tackles, and throw it downfield. And,
his accuracy was way better than what I saw watching him play against Portland State or Nice.
And then his actual wide receivers actually caught the ball.
Yeah.
Like in some of those games, like his stats were not showing it because they were dropping balls so much. Like it was funny because I don't know who it was. Someone was like, "Oh, he usually doesn't drop balls," and I'm like, "What?" Or what? I think it was like Sharp, Jacob Sharp. The last game he had like 4 or 5 drop passes.
Right.
Like I'm like, I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah.
But their rushing attack, that 3-headed monster, Davian Godley, and then Damian Bankston, and then the Cormier.
Bankston's good. He was so shifty and fast. Like he was faster than I realized. Like I was like,
but damn. The Grizz defense did pretty well on him.
Yeah,
he had 17 rushes for 73 yards. That's 3.9 an average. Godley killed us 7 attempts for 97, which 13.9 average. And he's kind of that more hit you. The Bankston's kind of more of that elusive guy.
The hit you guy. We're not wrapping up, and there's so many plays on defense where we're like hitting the guy in the backfield or for a loss, and we're falling off because we're doing this like just throw your body into him and fall down kind of crap. And I mean, I went off of it last week, and we're obviously. I mean, I thought for sure we'd practice tackling, and maybe they are practicing tackling, but Jesus Christ.
I loved the video that you put on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that,
tackling 101.
Yeah, let's look at that. My little photo. I was online looking for it. I was like, okay, maybe we learn tackles. It's tackling 101. Aggressive into contact. Head to the side. Wrap the legs. Keep driving your feet.
That sounds like what we need to do.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. Wrap up and drive through the player.
Yeah.
Take him to the ground.
Don't just stand there and have someone break your ankles and just fall over.
Well, I'll tell you what, I thought at the beginning of the game, we were going to see a lot of it was a definitely hard-hitting game, but I thought our guys would be driving people into the ground and stuff because of the way how chippy it was.
Oh, it was very
chippy. Was getting fired up. All of our 99 was fired up. Like people were getting fired up. And I thought, I was worried for a little bit that someone might get tossed, especially Riley, because he was getting pissed.
That that personal foul, unsportsmanlike personal foul, the beginning of the game, how can you call that on one guy when you're right there?
Hey, that was complete bullshit.
Everybody was doing stuff. Why don't you blow your whistle, throw a lot of flags, get everybody, and just give everybody a warning?
It should have been offsetting penalties. They're one of the guys threw a punch. It was
right in front of the ref.
Yeah, right in front of him. It was ridiculous.
And then I think Riley's getting this kind of reputation that of a dirty player, which he's not a dirty player. He's very confident in your face, but that was horrible.
Well, and he was smart. There was a player later on where he hit Munoz and could have drove him to the ground.
Oh yeah,
he turns and holds him and did one of these, pulled his hands up and held his hands in the air. going, "Oh, I didn't. No! Don't you call that on me."
Yeah.
He's getting smarter about it, which is good. So they're taking that coaching and stuff, but
Yeah.
you still want that hard hitting and stuff, just to like him and Houston out there. I think they should be on the field all the time because they're both laying the wood out there.
Houston should be having a lot more time. Like that
I
guy.
feel like he's not getting enough playing time.
No, he's not getting enough playing time. And then the penalties on defense. Do you want to go to the defensive side of the ball now?
Yeah, let's. That's what I mean. Offense. There's like it feels like we're rolling on offense.
Yeah.
And there's just like I said, little tweaks. I mean, if we're arguing about Fife and Ayat, it's a great problem to have. We have two very good quarterbacks that can run the offense very well. We have a receiving core that's taking off. I mean, White having that breakout game.
Yep.
Fonts keeps getting better. I mean, everybody's just. I mean, then the two-headed Osmo and freaking Gilman just doing all this, and Gilman going, "Oh, I can catch passes too. Whatever you want me to do, coach." It's like, geez. And then Stevie Rocker Jr. got that huge tackle on freaking
on special teams,
which was awesome. And so
that was awesome.
I don't know. The offense is just. I mean, other than the O-line letting that guy with the lookout block to smack Fife at the end of the game and lose the ball, and a few of those. I mean, there's a few pass blocking things we need to work on, but boy, run blocking and. For the most part, they're doing well. So
okay, so can I before we get to defense, can I talk about one thing about offense?
Sure. Yes.
And I had a discussion with one of my good friends about this, and he disagreed with me. But I think one of the integral parts of this game was right before halftime. We had the ball.
Okay.
And we had the ball. I think it was like the 40-yard line, right?
This was after we sack fumbled the guy.
Yes.
You're talking about that. We got the fumble. It's like, oh my God, we can get the most swinging in our direction.
Exactly, right? We could be, because wasn't it like 28-21? Wasn't it like 28-21 at that time? Something like that. I can't remember the score. But what the play calling after that, when you have Osmo and you have Gilman and they have not been able to stop you.
Yeah.
I don't understand the play call of running a screen and the passes, and I can't remember off the top of my head because I think there wasn't it 3 passes,
something like that,
in one run, and we get nothing out of it, not even a field goal.
No, that's what bothered me too. Why not take the points?
Yeah,
why not give? I mean, I know that Morrison, but it's like right before the half. It feels like this is going to be like, hey, you need every point you can get kind of game.
Yep.
I'm yelling at the TV, take the points. Come on, take the points. Take the points. Take the points. If you're not going to, take the points. And
exactly. And it wound up being that way where we go into overtime. And one of my good friends was like, well, no, I think the extra point where we could have just went for the extra point for 1 instead of the 2-point conversion. Well, nah. I think that momentum swing before halftime, if we could have got a touchdown and been 28-28 or even 28-24, would have been so much going into halftime that it would have swung that second half.
Yeah, I agree. I think like that swing, like it felt, oh crap, the defense is fired up. Everybody is. Even if you only get 3 points, it's still like, oh boy, you're going into halftime, especially I was thinking this is because they're getting the ball to start the half, the third quarter. So I was like, you got to get those points, and that. I was worried it was going to bite us in the ass, and it did in the end. Yeah, I think.
Well, even just to get your defense, like the defense probably feels really bad right now, right, guys? They do. They're letting teams score at will.
Yeah.
But to have that, like, hey, we stopped and we got a fumble and we got points off of it, I just think that would have lifted our defense a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's only so much, like it's like the total opposite this year, right? We've been saying defense is carrying it, and then this year it's the total opposite where our offense is carrying it. You can't have your offense carry the load the whole game because there's going to be a time where you're going to need to stop, and we're not getting those stops. And penalties at the worst time for our defense, when we do get stops, it feels like we get penalties on 3rd and 5, and they get a first down because of a pass interference or a holding call or personal foul, and it is nuts.
Yeah, it's just it feels like we're just not as disciplined. Like that's
No.
like it's like between the penalties and then guys not doing their job and like doing other things or thinking they need to be here and not there. It's like, oh, it's really frustrating because we're so used to like really good defense. But before we go to defense, I have another thing on the offense I want to talk about.
Okay. Yes.
So, and I'm putting this on the coaches. Like this is 100% on the coaching. In the fourth quarter, we get the ball back. We're doing this, 3-minute drive where we're like, okay, we have to go score to get ahead. And my mind's going, hey, we can't stop them. Don't score too quick.
Exactly.
So I'm watching this go down, and now we have this 2-minute 2-minute timeout. Sorry, 2-minute timeout is what they're calling it. So we're driving and we're getting gains. Like it's like, yep, we're going down the field, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, I look at the play clock and we could let it go to the 2-minute warning or the 2-minute timeout. Mm-hmm. Instead, we ran 2 more plays.
Yeah.
We're going, what are we doing? I'm like, let it go to that 2-minute timeout.
Yep.
We still have 3 timeouts ourselves. Realistically, we could have left them with 30 seconds or maybe less.
Yeah.
Even running the same plays. Instead of running those plays before the 2-minute timeout, run them afterwards. You're down to like, a minute 30 then. And then, if we score, they're down with like 30 seconds left. With 30 seconds, do they make it far enough down where they can get that field goal? Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm putting that part in the code. We could have ended it there. The game would have been over instead of having to go into freaking overtime.
Yep.
So, I mean,
use the shot clock.
Yeah.
Use the shot clock or the play clock, as they would say, like just waste the time. Like,
well, and they weren't. They were just going quick. I was like, I know we want to score, and I know we have to score.
Yeah.
But the way we've been scoring so easily, and the way we're driving, calm down a little bit here. Like, let's play chess and not checkers. It felt like we were playing checkers at the end there. We're just like, oh, I gotta get it. I gotta take your king. I gotta get the ball in the end zone.
Even their coach Mickey Mantle said we felt really good. We had a minute left with 3 timeouts or 2 timeouts.
Yeah, a minute.
We felt like we could go down there easily, and they hadn't stopped us all day. We felt like we could get a stop or go down there and get something.
He was going, let's go score. Let's score a touchdown. And then when he realized that they weren't going to, he's like, all right, line our guy up where he wants to go with a field goal. Yeah. And I was, you and I both know that he's missed a few. And I was praying he'd miss. And sure enough, he just drives it home. It was like, son of a God.
Yep.
But I mean, after that controversial run out of bounds catch for touchdown, I thought for sure, though, okay, great. Well, we've been scoring at will. We'll go score here. Mm-hmm. And then we run this RPO, which he decides to pass. And, well, was it Pamphloff or who made that block?
I think it was Pamphloff.
Does the old lookout block, and freaking guy just crushes him, and there goes the ball. And it's like, son of a, it's over. It's just like, really? Like, I didn't feel like that's how it was going to end.
Yeah. So I think this is kind of petty of me to this is like petty of me, but I have to do it. So Osmo fumbled, right?
Yeah.
They sat him for a while.
They shouldn't have.
They sat him for a while.
I know.
Okay.
Hey.
5.
I got starting, baby.
Yeah, I'm saying 5 fumble the ball. If you're gonna treat everybody the same, man, you better go sit him.
I kept telling you, I got starting this week. That you just made my point for me.
I know. I'm just saying,
baby, you fumbled. Go sit on the bench.
Like, I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna do it for other players, you got to do it to him. You did it to Ayat earlier this year. Like, you've got to do it him.
Sit your butt on the bench.
Exactly. That's right.
Even though it was not Fife's fault at all.
No, like, but he just still fumbled.
You're right. Yeah.
So, but no, that was just, it's interesting just to see the dynamic of what happens and what he does. Special teams, man. This is the worst special teams unit I have ever seen out of the Grizz.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, considering like every announcer's like, oh, Bobby Houck's the special teams guru. It's like,
guru of nothing.
Yeah, what's going on this year? It's like, I mean, even like Morris, I don't know what's going on with Morrison. Like, his punting, he shanked a few there. It's like
Yep.
sometimes, his kicking game was better. At least he hit that, but
even Glasgow has been sketchy. Like he has a leg just to boot the whole thing out of the end zone.
That's where I want to know. Like, does the coaching staff saying, "Hey, kick it short"? If I'm the coach, I'm like, every time boot it through the end zone. You take away them any opportunity to run it back. Just boot it through the end zone.
And that's the thing, guys. Like this is from Frank Gogola. Montana's worst national ranking in any statistical category is kick return defense, which you would expect not to be with Bobby Hauck.
Yeah.
They're averaging 26.04 yards a kick return, which is 111th out of 123 FCS teams.
Yeah.
If you have the kicker to kick it out of the end zone,
especially if you're having troubles with guys making tackles.
Exactly.
Boot it through the damn end zone and then make the ball run to the end zone so you make sure they're doing their lanes and stuff. But then, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't know if it's coaching, and if it isn't coaching,
if it's him just being inconsistent, that's sucks.
Then that's something that we need to figure out.
I think there is some inconsistency there with him a little bit, because when he kicks, there's times when he dang near hits it out of bounds. He kicks it and it's almost about like you're like, oh crap, don't go out, and it goes to the corner of the end zone. It's like, we're playing with fire there. Don't even try that. Just try to kick it through the uprights every time.
Just kick through.
That's your goal. Try to kick it through the uprights.
Yep. But that is alarming to know that usually that's something that we can put our hat on.
And historically, Bobby likes to use kickoff and kickoff return to kind of develop these younger guys, right? Like that's where he, just to get them playing time, get them used to college football and stuff like that. I guarantee you that there's older guys going, hey, I can do that. Put me on there. Like, I guarantee there's guys asking. So I'll be interested to see if we see any changes at all on either of those this week. Like, if we get some of the older guys that are like, hey, if they can't handle it, put me out there, at the same time, it's gut check time. It's like, hey, if you want to play college football, you better step up and start making some plays.
Yeah.
So
it's just alarming, because especially on that, you're just like, are we developing? Like, we're seeing the same things consistently.
Yeah.
Our offense is getting better. I think our defense is getting worse.
Wow.
I think our special teams are kind of not getting really better at all.
So I don't know if our defense is getting worse. I think we played better opponents and we just haven't progressed at all. Like, I think we're still making every week. I feel like I'm talking about the same things, like people not doing what they're supposed to be doing or out of position. And so, like, to me, I'm going. And so last week, again, the pregame show, they got Levi Genicaro on there. He's talking about the 3-3-5. And he talks about how complex that defense is. He goes, it's actually some of the schemes we run are super complex, which in turn makes it really hard for offenses. Yeah. And so because we have so many transfers and new guys and new people on the defense, my question is it too complex right now? Like, is it too hard for everybody to, like, for our own guys to, like, oh crap, not realize, instead of just playing football, because the adage is like, when you're playing defense, learn it so well that you're not thinking, you're just reacting. Like, you're going on instinct, because you're not, if you think, then all of a sudden the play's by you. And so that's what I worry about, is that they're thinking too much. Like, oh no, I'm supposed to be here. Oh wait, no, I'm supposed to be there. And that's when it's like, again, see guys all of a sudden turn their head down and they're running hard to go here. And so, like, my thought is like, do we simplify it? Like, simplify it down. If it's too complicated for our guys, I'm just saying, let's say that's what the problem is. It's just too complicated. Okay, change your scheme a little bit so it's easier for these guys to just play football and do what they're good at. We were talking before. You mentioned, like, Terrell, when he gets shifted over to that middle linebacker position, he's not as good at middle linebacker. No. He's a great outside linebacker. He does a great job covering the flat and coming around the edge and blowing up the edge of the plays. And
he's not quick enough side to side to be a middle linebacker.
Be that middle linebacker. And there's times when our, depending on what the offensive scheme gets us, our defense will shift over. Mm-hmm. And so you have to play multiple sets and you have multiple responsibilities on the defense, and some guys' skill set aren't, I guess, conducive of certain things like that. And so Terrell's best spot is the outside linebacker. Just keep him there.
Yep.
Let him just stay out there and kick ass. I mean, so that I'm hoping we see some of that. Like,
I'm going to play devil's advocate for you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So you mentioned that, the guy, it takes longer for them to develop and the guys aren't used to the system, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Terrell started last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Riley started last year.
Yeah.
Hayden started from last year. Jackson, Gradney started from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Ryder started from last year. Ko,
he's brand
Ko, new, but played a 3-3-5 at San Diego State.
Yeah, that's true. They did play 3-3-5.
Oluski played at San Diego State. He played a 3-3-5. Roush played a little bit last year, right?
Yeah, he did play a little bit.
So you've got Krishan Gordon, who hasn't played.
Yeah.
So, but most of our defense, if you look at that, have played a 3-3-5 or have started.
The guys that are out of position are the guys that haven't been here, like Gordon, Cow. Like, they're the ones that I've been seeing that are out of position mostly. But the Terrell thing, like, that's just like, like, I just don't know if he's got the athletic, just for that spot when they shift him. He's more of that outside linebacker position.
Yeah.
And
I think they see that. I think they see that because they've been playing Riley at that middle linebacker position sometimes because he's got that quickness.
Riley's talented enough where he's got the quickness to move around. Like, I wish we had 7 of him out there. Like, he's he's a horse. But like, I do feel like it's possible that they're overthinking it. Or here's the other thing that could be possible: the fact that we have, and I think we got some questions about this, the whole defensive coordinator thing.
Too many heads in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's too many hands in the cookie jar, or too many, kings in the kitchen, whatever the hell it is. But you got 2 guys. I'm like, it's almost like the 2 quarterback system. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. They say.
So what do you do though? What do you do?
I think Hauck's got to step out and either demote his brother or Cooper. And you're the defensive coordinator. Go with it.
So how does that? I guess I don't know them personally. How would that hurt the defense? How do you do that as a coach? That hurts your ego, right?
These are grown ass men, and they should suck it up. Like, that's
true.
You're a football coach. If you're a head coach, like if you were at work and your boss said, you know what, you're not doing the good enough job. This guy's you're the head guy. You're the head guy in charge now. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is your role now. Like that. Yeah. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, luckily I got to experience this when I was in college, being up in the booth with Bresky. I couldn't imagine have someone else trying to call plays with him. Like, cause he was focused. It was like, here's the formation. Okay. This is what we're running.
Yeah.
So if there's 2 of them, how are they deciding? Like, is it okay? It's your turn now. Oh no, are they switching games off? Like, I have no idea how that could work with code.
Is it quarter by quarter? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like,
I don't know.
Or is one calling off? And then here's where I'm curious too. Like, is one calling like the front 7, and one's calling the DBs coverage and stuff? Like, if that's how they're breaking it down. But I feel like that could be causing some of our issues. Is like, almost like we're overthinking it. It's like, man, keep it simple, stupid. Like, just go play a little defense here. So, I wonder if there's a little bit of that going on too. So,
yeah, I kind of going into it, and I think we kind of mentioned that at the beginning of this season. Like, how is that going to work? Having 2 co-defensive coordinators, that's hard.
Well, it's just like if you were going to say you had 2 offensive coordinators, which we had once before that too, and that didn't.
Yeah, I don't think that was truly 2 offensive coordinators. I think that was you can still have the title, but you're not.
Yeah, that's just it. It's like, if they want to, like, externally, they're like, not let them save face, like, they keep the title, but you got to make a decision. Like, if that's like if Bobby's hearing that, like for instance,
Yeah.
it felt like we were going after the ball and going after them on defense hard, right?
Yep.
Like towards the end, we're trying to blitz them. We're doing stuff. We're actually making some stops. I was like, hey, there's something going on here. We score. Yep. We get the ball back to them. And we're like, okay, we give them that minute, right? Yep. And I'm like, oh my defense. God. And so what do? We start playing what looks like prevent defense.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm yelling like, this prevents you to win. Why are we playing soft instead of going after them? Instead,
the only thing is we got beat all day.
We're trying to stop the big play, but at the same time, I still we can stop the big play, but still send another blitzer to try to because we know that they want to score quick too.
Yeah.
And so, but it just felt like we were playing
safe,
playing not to lose.
Yep.
Is what we were playing for instead of playing to win. That's what it felt like, and that sucks. And that's where again, is it okay? It's your turn. It's your series, and the other, it's like if that's the case, man, that I don't think it's working. So,
we know that it's not working.
Something different. We've got more yards put up on us in the Stitt era. Like, this is just not what we're used to in a Bobby Houck run team. Like the defense is usually what we rely on. I mean, for years we're going linebacker U and stuff, and all of a sudden we just
stink.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we've got we lost Genatone. That hurt our depth at linebacker.
I did.
Leonard.
Yeah. So he could go play special teams at Nebraska. It's like, dude, he should have stayed here.
I think Gino Leonard is hurt, and he was a linebacker as well.
He is hurt.
And so then you've got Houston there. You've got Oloski.
I don't think they're Houston enough. Like
no, they're not.
He's out there. He's blowing shit up, and like he plays so fiery. I'm like, keep that guy in the field.
Exactly. Well, and that's where hopefully if they don't change up to like a 4-3, they do like if they're not going to do the 3-3-5. I would love them to see do like a 3-4-4 or something like that, where they add another linebacker.
Well, and that's that position that Robbie played was kind of this hybrid. He's safety technically, but he played it like a linebacker. That's why he had so many damn tackles because they had him come up for the run game. Okay, so then maybe we, like you said, instead of 3-3, go 3-4. Like if we have, get more linebackers in there to help the run and stuff. But the passing side is really where we've been. Again, it's guys not doing their job. So keep guys back in zone farther. Don't put so much on man. If if we're running a too complex and that's what I'm wondering. Are we running some NFL shit because Timmy's back there?
Yeah.
Maybe it's too complex for these guys. Maybe we just need to simplify it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, one area that we've got to figure out is cornerback. We are getting constantly burned. Yeah. Gradney, I love him to death, man, but he got burned 2 or 3 times this game. Jackson is getting burned, and if not, he's getting pass interference calls.
Did he have one this week? I don't think he had one this week.
I don't think he had one this week.
I think he had one this week.
No.
But we were seeing a lot more Loud this week. Loud did get burned once too, though. But I still think he's he's better about getting his head around and stuff. Like I think if he just keeps progressing from what I see, I hope we get to see him more and more because he's progressing a lot.
Well, and I'm just thinking and this is just I think we have a question on it, so I'll wait for it. But we still haven't seen Ford. We've seen him a couple times on there. Maybe get him in there.
Yeah, I've been wondering about that. Like, I thought he came from Akron, wasn't it?
Illinois.
And his brother was so dang good, Justin. And the one day I was out at practice during 2 days, I saw him out there and he looked good at practice. Yeah. And so I thought, I don't know what's going on there. I've heard some rumors that there's some stuff going on between him and the coaches. So
okay, we'll
see.
Yeah, it'd just be interesting to see just play the best guy, right?
Yeah.
If you're not going to play the best guy, then don't. It's just I don't know. Well, I look at it. I look at it as us getting burned. You've got to do. If it's not something you can fix, and it's a player is too slow or can't do what you need him to do, then you've got to put someone, no matter what the age, no matter what, who they are, you have to put them in a position to be successful.
That's like, the whole saving like our players, like for instance, the Gilman Osmo thing. Like a lot of people are like, why isn't Gilman getting the ball? Why isn't he in more? And I know the whole idea was like, well, we're trying to keep these guys as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
So we can make this long run in the playoffs. Well, let me tell you what, you lose one more game, we ain't making the playoffs.
Nope.
Like it's over. So like that whole thing of like they were saving people, throw that shit out the window because I'm telling you, like right now we have one conference loss. So there's still, we had one conference loss last year against NAU. We could still win the Big Sky Conference, especially with how crazy football is this year. But we can't afford another loss.
No.
We cannot lose another. If we want to make the playoffs or have a chance at some home games, we can't lose another game this season. Like this is it.
Well, if you
that's it.
If you lose this weekend, I think this is a do or die game right now. Because if you look at this game, if you lose this game, you're
right.
You're 2-2. You've got UC Davis, which is going to be a hard game, and you've got the neighbors. You do not want to be 7-5 or 8-4 this year because that is the cutoff. The 7-5, you're not making the playoffs.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like we have to, if we want to make the playoffs, like we need to win out. So we could afford to lose one more game, I think, and make the playoffs, but only
it's got to be to someone.
Certain teams.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be to the neighbors, or it's got to be to UC Davis, who's ranked high.
It could not be to Northern Arizona.
No,
or even then, you're Jesus God, Cal Poly, we're in. We got more problems than we'd have like a 7-hour pod of like.
We might be drinking on that podcast.
Yeah, jeez. But I mean, so like all the games are. I mean, I feel like a must win if we want to still do it. Because like again, we talked about this last year. I'm repeating it. I feel like I'm repeating myself at the NAU game after last year. It was like we can still accomplish our goals, which we can. We can still accomplish our goals of like a Big Sky Conference title, and because of the opportunity in front of us. So I want to read this off for you real quick. So we still have to play the Kitties. Right now, they're 3 in the nation.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We still have to play Davis. We get the opportunity to play Davis at home. Yep. They're 6 right now.
Yep.
That's so like looking forward. That's awesome. I'm glad that these teams are ranked so high because that could help us if we go beat them. If we can fix this crap and go beat them, that's huge. Okay. We're 14th. We forgot to tell everybody that. We've dropped to 14th. This is the stats poll I'm going off of, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're 14. Sac State is now 18. Weber climbed up to 20th. Northern Arizona, who we're playing this week, 24th. So there's one. I mean, that's crazy. 7 top 25 Big Sky teams. So we have a great opportunity this weekend. We're playing another ranked opponent. Like it was funny because at the beginning of the year, we went through the schedule and it was like, man, 12-0. Like that's our best. 11-1. Worst case, 10
worst case 10-2.
Yeah, that's what it felt like because we didn't know what we know now, like how good some of these teams are. Yeah. I still think the neighbors haven't played anybody.
They haven't played anybody.
They're about to find out. We're going to find out who they are this week.
And they got an ESPN2 game out of that.
Yeah,
did you see that?
Idaho. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they also have to play Weber. They got to play Davis. So like we're going to find out who they are, which is fine. But we have a good opportunity because look at these guys we got to play. We get to play Northern Arizona. They're ranked. So we beat them. They probably won't be ranked anymore, but that's great. That helps. It just helps us.
Yeah.
And then we go into bye week, and then we get some teams that we should just pound the piss out of. The Cal Poly and Northern Colorado before we take on Davis. So we have a lot of opportunity in front of us. So I just want Grizz fans to think like the sky is falling here because we lost in overtime to Weber State. I mean, we should have won that game, but we lost. Like it sucks losing at home. We should have beat North Dakota, but we didn't show up in the second half of that and lost. Barely, again, by one score.
We got to stop making this like 18-point give too. Like in the
we can't spot teams.
We can't spot teams 18 points.
We just need to come out and roll and just start, playing Grizz football and get ahead and just, I hate close games. Like people are like, oh, that's good football.
Yeah.
Grizz
No.
that way. It's like my heart rate, my freaking phone or watch here. I just watch my heart go up and stuff. It's just coming out of my chest. It's just like I can't stop pacing. I never sit during the game.
I would like a 56-0 game.
I just walk. Yeah,
I know. Me too.
Yeah, just sit there and pace. If we could, blowouts is what I like because then I can relax. It's like, oh, this is so much nicer. Like,
so
a lot of people don't like blowouts. I love them. Like, if we could win every game like 50-0, that would be the best Grizz season ever.
It would be. It'd be so good.
Except for the neighbor game, we get to beat them 100-0.
So, anything that you see else on defense? You know, the one thing what we talked about is the linebacker speed and cornerbacks.
Here's one thing I don't think we're doing enough is blitzing. Like,
well, we're not getting to the quarterback.
No, and so like I'd like to see us. So like if we're having issues in the secondary, then one way to help that is get the quarterback better. Yeah. And I think we need to twist and blitz some more. Like
because Hayden Harris got another sack this week.
Yeah,
I think he's the leading sack leader in the Big Sky Conference right now.
He is.
Riley Wilson got a sack last time.
Those guys are good at getting to the quarterback, and so like I think either Riley or Terrell should be blitzing the quarterback every time.
Well, and I think they should.
One of those two. Like they can switch in and out, but play him from the outside and let them do that.
Well, and I think you need to put Riley and Hayden on separate sides.
I agree.
Because a lot of the times it's Hayden and Riley on one side. Put them on opposite sides so you have a rush coming at both ways.
Yeah. I agree. I like that thought. Those two are our best pass rushers, and they should be just teeing off back there. So,
yeah. You know, and I think that Hayden has been getting a little bit better. And Ramos is doing a little good job there. Noose is as well. So I think it's not going to be what Governor did for us last year. It's just not.
No.
But when that happens, you have to have other places step up. I think Hayden's stepped up. I think Riley's kind of been that spark as well. We just need it somewhere else.
Yeah.
We desperately need it on the backside. The cornerbacks, the safeties definitely have to get their crap together.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
If we don't, it's gonna be a long season.
Something interesting that I did see a comment from, I can't remember where the heck I saw it. Someone thought they saw Governor on the sideline helping coach the D-line this last weekend. And I was like,
really?
So what I wanted to do is throw that out there. If anybody saw that, let us know. I missed it. I haven't rewatched the game again. Got a little busy this weekend and kind of didn't want to watch that.
I would not be able to watch that.
I started watching the NAU film instead. I was just like, all right, as they say, as the players, flush that one, learn from it, move on.
Exactly.
So hopefully they learn from it, move on. But if someone did see that, I'm just curious. Like, I didn't notice that, but I wasn't looking for it. I think it was I'm guessing someone who was in the stands that got to see that. Like, I didn't see it, but that would be cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. You know,
because he's still he got cut from Kansas City, right?
Yeah. And I noticed, what's his name? Our big lumberjack O-lineman from last year that he got picked up by yeah. I'm blanking on his name now.
I've got it on here somewhere.
I'm just blanking. I don't know why. It's been a long day, I guess. Totally blanking on his name. But, you know, speaking of DBs, I saw that we got Deontay Gentry today.
Yep.
Says he's 1,000% committed. DB from the great state of Texas down in Arlington.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I was like, heck yeah.
And we got a running back from Red Lodge, Montana.
Yep, from Red Lodge. Hell yeah. So
be interesting to see. One thing I forgot to add on here. Why the heck did we call a timeout for Weber State?
When was that?
Okay, so we didn't call it for them. It was in the fourth quarter. They were going down, trying to score, and they were wasting time. They were off. They were literally not just wasting time. And then even Morningwood was like, "Oh, Weber State called the timeout." Wait, it's Montana call this timeout? Like,
and I was going to look back at that. I didn't know if we had too many men on the field or just totally the wrong. We thought we had the wrong defense. That's what I was assuming why we did.
Okay, because they were wasting time, and I'm like, just let them waste time. Like,
yeah, I was thinking that we were like, oh crap, this is totally not what we thought. We're like the wrong formation or something like that, and that's why they called it because I thought that was unusual too. Chase Cook is the running back from Red Lodge, Montana.
Okay, there you go.
That's who we got today. So, yeah, there was a lot of like I think the coaches too are having to have this gut check. Like, hey, look in the mirror, because like we said, there was clock management issues and like just different things like that. It's like, what are we doing? Like,
and just like
we're better
to lose to Weber State when they've only won like I think Riley said like 3 times. They've only won at Washington Grizzly Stadium 3 times. The last one was like 1986.
Yeah, it was like 50. Yeah, 50. It was 15 times ago when they beat it 15 times in Wager. It's like, that's the other frustrating part. Like we usually do pretty well there, and to lose one like that, there were so many opportunities for us to win that game.
Oh yeah,
and we just didn't capitalize them from again, the piss poor play calling at the end of the second to allowing a kickoff return when you could just kick it through the damn end zone every time. The piss poor clock management at the end and not just scoring and leaving him just a minute amount
30
of
seconds. Even
and
30 seconds.
Marty mentioned that, but he was like, well, this is college, so they probably don't think about that as much. Come on. Like, you should
have to. If you're not thinking about that, then why are you coaching?
Again, like I said, it's like you're playing checkers and you're not instead of chess. It's like, come on. Something else I want to talk about is Marty and who's it? Gary Gus, whatever the heck the other guy is in the booth. Like,
Cone.
It just like people always complain about him. Man, I was just sick of him this week. Like, really? I was even getting sick of Marty. They I think sometimes because Marty's a Grizz fan, they get talking so much about their team. I'm just like, just shut up about them. Like, it just drives me nuts. It's like, maybe it's because I like the Grizz so much, but it feels like they're just going off on the other team and how great they are. And I'm just like, okay, enough. Like, I know you're trying to be impartial, but it almost feels like it's swinging the other way.
Oh, I love Marty. I
like Marty, but it was just I'm talking about when he's talking about the other team and the other guy too. It was just like, okay, enough, guys. Like, we know you think they're great. Enough. Like,
it's kind of hard though too when your defense is not stopping anybody. What do you say?
I know, but yeah, it was just I don't know. I was getting irritated with it. So that's my opinion. Usually I don't, and boy, this game I sure was. Maybe it was just because we were sucking so bad on defense.
Yeah, that's well. Any last thoughts on defense?
I just hope they learn something and they flush it and get better this week.
I don't want them to flush it. I want them to hold on to it and
I know you got to flush that stuff.
Well, why?
I don't want them to sit there and think like, oh God, I don't want to screw up again. You got to get that.
Well, no, I want them to hold on to it where it drives them to do better.
That's what I'm saying. Learn and be better. Like, just get better. That's all.
If you just flush it and you don't learn anything, like
that's what I'm saying. Like, you got your ass kicked. All right, good. Now what? Yeah. What are we gonna do to get better?
What do we need to do to get better?
Be more disciplined and wrap the F up.
I think I said that to you when we were watching it. Like, oh my goodness, wrap the F up. Like, seriously, like, don't just stand there and wait for them to hit you.
There's so many times where we're there to make the stop, and then the guy bounces off and keeps.
Or they're like just like hand, like try to grab them with their hand.
I wonder, like, is it they're worried about getting targeting or getting something like that? Are they worried about that? You know what? Don't worry about it. Just
hit them.
If it happens, it happens.
Yep.
Just play hard, play with reckless abandonment out there.
Yep. Go through them.
Yeah. So.
All right. Should we go on NAU?
Yeah, we can talk about NAU.
So, well, depending on, what happens, guys, I watched the Idaho game and I think I texted you last night when I was watching. I was like, oh, man, their quarterback's pretty good. So a little bit about where NAU has come from, guys. They played Lincoln, California, which
that doesn't count.
that doesn't count. That's like a Division II school, 66-6.
Everybody who plays them beats the ever living
Yeah.
door off of them.
So yeah, they're 2-3 overall right now, just because I don't think they're counting it on their score, or their record, but
yeah, it can win. But I mean, it's just like
they played Arizona, number 20 Arizona at Arizona, which they did pretty well, 22-10.
They played it was like 14-10 in the third or something. Like they played them tight. Yeah.
Yeah. They went and beat up Utah Tech 45-17. They played UIW, which 38-14. Wasn't that a little bit closer than that 38-14?
It was way closer. Like that.
Yeah.
That game, it was back and forth and stuff. In fact, the two games I watched was the UIW game and then the Sac State game.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, after watching those two games, I think they look better than Weber.
Yeah, I would say they
until I found out what you told me.
Yeah.
When you get to the Idaho game. Now I feel better. But
yeah. So the next week, Sacramento State, they beat in Flagstaff 34-16. That's a top 10 win there.
Yeah.
They go into Idaho this last week, guys. 23-17 in Idaho. They played them tough. The only thing in that game is they lose about the 2-minute mark going into the halftime. Their amazing quarterback, Ty Pennington, which I don't know is he related to Chad Pennington?
I think he is, because I thought I heard him say
his son.
When I was watching the Sac State game, they mentioned Chad, and I think that's what it is. Former Marshall quarterback.
He was 12 of 17 for 114 yards and 1 touchdown in that half. He then had 4 rushes for 21 yards. Very quick, very, very long legged as well. Has a cannon of an arm. He gets hurt. He gets thrown down by Newbie. I think the guy was Newbie, Montana Tech guy. I think
I went back and watched the play. Like, he gets tossed.
Oh hard. Man. And he got like flung like a wrestling fling.
Yeah,
and right on his head.
Power bombed him into the freaking ground.
He tries to get up, goes back down. They take his helmet off, and you can tell he's just concussed. And they walk him straight into the locker room.
Even the way he went down, like his shoulder, it's his throwing shoulder. It looked like that could be hurt, and his head. So he didn't come back.
No. They then go to this PJ London. He did okay. He 11 for 16. He threw 2 picks for 82 yards. It was just not good. After that, I think the box score is going to be kind of weird, because that half, it was 20-10. Idaho only scores 3 points in that second half.
Right.
And so it was kind of a little bit kind of tricky with that, but definitely they've got some good running backs that they kind of do. That Isaiah Eastman and then Jawan Evans are some pretty good rushing.
They're running backs too. Like, we're talking about tackling. The 2 games I watched, they had many times where both against Sac and UIW, they're breaking tackles and getting to the next level. Like, you cannot arm tackle these guys. They will.
No, and they're big. Their lower bodies. Their lower body. I think it's one of them. I think it's that Jawan Evans.
Yeah,
he is a big guy.
Yeah.
And so, he's 5'11", 195. What was the other guy? He's just like, his thighs were huge.
Their running backs, they run really hard.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that game. I wouldn't expect Pennington to play, but if he does play, this is going to be a whole lot harder of a game. I almost want to do 2 scores.
Well, that's it. Like, the score I have written down was when I thought Pennington was playing. Like, I didn't realize he was going to be out. Because if he's playing, I'm telling you right now, like, it's
that's gonna be a hard game.
He was really good. Like, he looks the part. He looks like his dad. Throws a great ball. I was just sitting there going, these guys look way better than Weber. I thought Weber looked on film, and
Yeah.
like I'm going, oh crap, this ain't good.
Well, and to come in here and beat us on a homecoming and to kind of rub it in our faces that they beat us 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
well, they're gonna want to do that.
That's the other thing is we do have a little payback we need to do after last year.
Yeah,
I mean, in the end, that was probably the best wake up call we had was NAU beating us because we went on this streak until the Frisco, last year, and so like. I'm hoping that the Weber game did that for this year. Us for this year, we were all hoping the UND game did that.
I know, right?
But it didn't. So hopefully, the Weber game wakes up the coaches on defense. Our offense is doing pretty damn good, but on defense and special teams, we wake up on players and coaches and come out there and play with a little more reckless abandonment and shut these guys down.
And this is kind of going back from NAU, but. We hoped that it was NA or UND, right?
Yeah.
And then we get a scare from Eastern Washington, and we're that's there. We got the win. And then this week, how many times does it have to be a wake up call before this is just what it is?
Well, that's just it. I think we're gonna have to get used to much higher scoring games. Like it's not gonna be like last year where we could, just shut teams down and they're not going to score. The teams are going to score on us. They're going to get yards.
Yep.
Well, what I'm hoping for is like, can we adjust enough where we can stop? Like if we can stop the big play, that could be huge for us. It's like, okay, if we're going to give up yards and stuff, fine. Let's be that bend but don't break defense then, where we're not letting them have the big plays, stopping those, and just get the ball back to our offense and let them do their thing. Because like for years we're like, man, if we could just get an offense where we can keep our damn defense off the field, that'd be great. Now we do, or our offense can score so fast the defense is back on there. But it's just like, come on, D, just help us out a little bit here. Like just stop them enough where that I can't believe we're saying this, like that we can just keep putting points up and get out with the W.
Isn't that nuts?
It is crazy.
Isn't that just crazy? Like, oh man. Yeah. So, you've got to kind of look out for, and it's weird because they do that run pass option as well as us. They do make those, they just remind me a lot of ourselves right now.
Well, that's one thing I will agree with you all the way on offense and defense. Like as I was watching those two games, I was like, they remind me a lot of us, the way they play offense, the way they play defense. I was like, the holes in their defense are a lot of the same holes that we have. They have good corners actually. Their cornerbacks are pretty good.
Their DB Alex McLaughlin is a beast.
Yeah, and so
he's 6'2", 190. He's a sophomore this year. He lays the wood. He is definitely a guy. I think he's number 7.
Yeah, I think
number 7 was number 7 was good.
Yeah. So I mean, they're going to be good. Like the big question again is if it's not Pennington, that's going to help us a lot. Because if we can get pressure on this backup guy, that's going to make for a long day. And I'm sure that the guys want revenge after last year. Like, that helped us a lot last year too. With the whole, we had a lot of revenge games last year, and we were on this kind of revenge tour. And this year, it's defending what we did last year. And so, fortunately, we could still possibly win the Big Sky if we can get stuff correct and start making plays and making wins. So,
and going in, I think we totally could. It's just if we get that defense kind of settled.
Yeah, if we can get the defense settled down and just make some corrections there, we can start rolling off some wins here. Especially like, okay, think about it. Like let's go pull off this NAU win. Then you get a week off. So let's say we are changing things up on the defense. So it gives us more time to kind of practice that if we're changing things, we're adapting. And then you get a couple of teams that should be easy wins to help build confidence and just
knock on wood.
Knock on wood. But like games like Cal Poly in Northern Colorado, not to look ahead, but I'm gonna. Those games are the type of games where build your confidence and you're getting guys to play and get more gameplay and stuff.
Yeah.
Before you have to play that UC Davis game. So like it's lining out very, well for us if we can pull off this win. First things first, we got to beat NAU. It's
Yeah.
a ranked team, a ranked win in our house. People don't beat us in our house,
Except for
Yeah.
last week.
What's that?
Except for last week.
I know, but I mean, it just doesn't happen very often. So,
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunate. It was an overtime, and they did beat us. But yeah,
Sorry, that was mean.
No, it's all right, man. It happened. So
Yep.
it sucks, but we need to suck it up and go back out there and get some W's.
So a guy that you guys want to watch too, they have a tight end.
Yeah, he's good.
Brazai White.
Yeah.
He is 6'3", 245, but he runs like a wide receiver.
And they like to hit him right over the middle in our spot that we suck at, that we constantly have guys not in the right position. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And that's going to be one to kind of watch out for because he is big and he is quick. He reminds me of Grossman. And so that's something that we should probably watch a little bit. So that with watching the who's going to play quarterback, which I think just looking at the film, if you guys have time and you guys want to watch that, I don't see
money is on it's the backup guy, like especially if he had a concussion, like we that's what it looks like. When you go right to the locker room, I mean, look, we held Ayat out and he was still on the sidelines and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, right to
and
the
they
locker
went
room.
Straight to the locker room, yeah.
Yeah, my guess is he's hurt, which sucks. I mean, never wanted seeing him to get hurt. So
yeah. So you're going to probably see more running with this group, a lot more RPO action where they're handing it off and doing short passes, which they like to do as well, and then a lot more running. So something that we're going to have to watch. But something that their defense does, you tell me, it looked like to me that they were running a 3-3-5.
Yeah, no, they have the 3-man front. The way they run it too, like it almost looks like they got two, like more like D tackles and nose tackle, almost like a 3-4-ish. But they'll shift it over and do that. They'll run a lot of nickel out of it, and then it turns into the 3-3-5. But it's definitely
they'll switch
3-man front.
They'll switch. They'll move right at their line. Defensive line will move right before
they do a lot of stunting and twisting, and so the thing is like I feel like we should be fine with that because we're used to our defensive line like doing that and stuff in practice. So I'm like, it's nothing we haven't seen before. So I'm not that concerned. I feel like our offense should be able to move the ball and get points on these guys.
Well, I think so too because when they do bring pressure, they don't really disguise it very well.
Yeah.
When they bring pressure, you see them clog the box. Yeah. They go 7-8 men in the box.
That is one thing. Like, when they're doing that, they like to clog the box. Like there'll be 8 guys in the box. And so like those plays where we have like Schaefer sneak out and stuff, like there's some really potential for big plays because of their over aggressiveness at times. And
they do that a lot, especially on 3rd and short. They'll just bring everybody.
It's some of our counter and reverse plays because of how aggressive these guys try to be. That could really expose them, and we could see some big plays on our side. So like I expect we could see some big plays from X or Fonts or even like Gilman or like our tight ends down the middle where they think we're running play action and we're running that and they pop out and there you are.
And I think this is the game. If you're going to want to bet for a interception in this game, return for a touchdown or an interception, this is the game to probably do it.
It'd be nice for our defense to get some picks.
Yeah, because I just think with a backup quarterback, they're not going to want to throw the ball that much. They're going to want to, this is where we're going to, if we get pressure on them, this is where you're going to do it.
Where if you say that, I think it's a great point where they don't want to have to throw the ball out with this backup quarterback. Yeah. Well, if we can get points on them and get up on them a couple of scores, they're going to have to throw just to try to stay in it. And that's going to just make it even better for our defense. Because our D-line can tee off and go after him, and our DBs could be out there to get picks. So,
even with when Pennington was in there, they do not like 3rd and 4 or longer. And so if the D can get them with that or longer, they're going to have to throw the ball, which I think that'll be beneficial to us. And so it'll be interesting to see, kick returns. They had one guy that did pretty good, but I'm looking at trying to look at their averages this year on what they're doing. But yeah, definitely, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, right? So they're averaging about 31 points a game with opponents getting about 20 on them. So
I just wrote down a second score.
did you?
Yeah. I have my Pennington score and my non-Pennington score. I think we should.
Okay, I have my Pennington score, and I'll get a non-Pennington score.
I had one before I realized that he's probably going to be out. So
okay,
we'll have two scores. If you're okay with that,
that's fine. That's fine.
I think that's a good idea because I think it really does that make that much difference. Like Pennington is legit. Like if he's out there, we have a damn battle on our hands.
Yeah.
That being said, if he is out there, if we knock the crap out of him, there's a good chance that not that you want to be hurt, but I mean, it's like a guy's going to be timid after getting that kind of power bombed into the ground like that.
Yep.
You get a little PTSD from that kind of hit.
So their kick return average is about 21.25.
Kick it through the end zone every time.
Kick it through the end zone, no
matter what. For the love of God, just kick it through the end
zone. So that's what we want to do. They're 17 of 23 in the red zone. 14 of those have been touchdowns. They're pretty good at third down conversion at 47%. And they've fumbled 9 times. They've lost 8 fumbles. They've had 14 sacks. I want to see the penalty yards because I didn't see too many penalties in the Idaho game, but I'm trying to look at penalties. Where are you at? But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens because how do we come out, right? Are we gonna be because to me, I want revenge on this team.
Well, and I know that our team does too. Like that was the game where we had guys walking off the field in the middle of the play, and
exactly
it was an ugly game last year, and I know the guys are going to want revenge after that. Like I'm sure it's been on their radar since last year. Like, okay, I can't wait for that game.
Yeah. So, they're averaging 49 yards
and us coming off a loss, they're going to be pissed. Like nothing helps you feel better than getting a W after a loss. So, yeah.
Anything else on Northern Arizona? It's kind of hard to kind of go really in depth, guys, on them just because the quarterback position, that's going to be kind of something to kind of watch out for. We gave you guys the tight end / wide receiver to look at, but that Deveron Hubbard is their leading rusher. He's had 59 carries for 287, and then they have that Juwan Evans, who's got 23 carries for 190, and so something to kind of look out for that for the rushing attack there.
Yeah, and they have a good offensive line, but I really think if we stunt and blitz, that's when people have gotten to their quarterback. Like it's just doing that sort of thing. Like especially if you're doing a lot of twists and stuff. There was times when their guys weren't picking them up right, and just sitting there not knowing who to block. So that could help us. Like there's just
the receiving guys. You've got that tight end, Braze White. The 2 other guys that you want to look out for is Tay Lanier. He's got 16 catches for 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Tyre Brooks, 10 catches for 198 and 3 touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, their leading tackler is that Alex McLaughlin, 39 tackles. He's got 3.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. They've got that Ammon Allen. He's got a total of 38 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. And so, they've got 13.
They're an aggressive defense.
They're 14 sacks this year.
Yeah. So we're going to have to protect or get the ball out quick. But I really think if we can set up that play action game, that could be beneficial to us. They love to bring guys down in the box. And so I think I could see us running a lot of play action and stuff after we get the run going and get the running game going and open up the pass. So.
Well, and just like last week, right? Eli Gilman out of the backfield, right? I could see that. Again, I could see them using X too. set up
whether it's Ayat or Fife, I feel like our offense can put points up against these guys.
I think so too.
No.
That's not going to be the thing
That's
that we
not.
look
Yeah,
at.
that's not the issue. We need the defense.
That's not the issue.
So, need the defense to show up.
Yep. Anything last things, man?
No, not on any of you. You want to do some scores for them before we get into questions and stuff?
Yeah. Well, I've got to tell you what my son said, because I've got to tell. He said, "Dad, you have to say two things on the podcast." I'm like, okay. What do I got? What do I got to tell everybody? He's like, "We've got to play better on defense." I'm like, okay.
Agreed 100%.
And we got to get a new coach. I'm like, I don't think we can get a new coach in the middle of the season, buddy. I don't think that's happening.
We might need to just. I think where he was going with that was pick a damn defensive coordinator and just let that guy run.
So he told me I have to say that. He's gonna ask me in the morning if I did, so I had to say it. So
what's your son's name?
Kieran.
Nice job, Kieran. Love it.
Yep. So yeah, we've got a lot of questions, but let's do some score predictions.
All right. So Versus dropped us a bunch. I think we're like 19th now on Versus as far as ranking. Anyway, so Versus has us winning. They have the Grizz winning 40-33.
Oh, okay.
Which was actually close to my original score. So I've got my 2.
Okay. You want me to go with my close score, and then you can go with your close score?
All right, yeah. Let's go with our Pennington is starting at quarterback score.
We'll call our Pennington score.
Yeah.
Okay, my Pennington score is 34-26.
Oh, you're nicer than I am.
Nice. That's nice. That's like a touchdown.
Mine's 37-33.
37-33. Oh,
Grizz win.
Whew.
Our defense needs to prove it to me.
Oh my gosh.
After, like I said, when I watched Pennington against SAC and UIW, I was like, uh-oh.
See, the only thing is though, is that I felt that I did not, when I looked at this Weber State team, I was like, they're okay. They're okay. But when then I saw them play our defense, and it was like, where did this come from?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I watched NAU in other games and was like, man, they look pretty good. And then I thought, oh crap, I thought Weber State didn't look that good. So
yeah, I know. I'm like, is that just our defense? Like, that's so sad to say. Like, our just defense makes these guys look that much better.
I don't know.
That's scary.
I think also that I think Weber was really looking forward to beat.
Yeah.
It's like it felt like that's the best I'd seen. That what's his Gonzalez? Who's the quarterback?
Richie Munoz.
Munoz, yeah.
Munoz or
that's
whatever.
The best I've seen him play. So
when they said that in the post game, that they were looking for this game because the last 2 times they played, they thought that they were the better team and they just missed.
Yeah.
So
I think they were, but yeah, that was the best game he's played. So that's why I say Grizz win, but close, 37-33. Okay. If Pennington's playing. Now, if Pennington's not playing,
mine's 42-16.
Okay, I'm 42-24.
Oh.
So I still have them scoring some points because, like I said, defense needs to prove it to me.
Oh man, can we have those blowout scores, please?
Yeah, I'd love to see us like 42-10 or something.
Oh, that would be awesome.
The defense hasn't proved it, but I'm hoping that the coaches make some adjustments. The guys learned from last week, and we finally. I was saying that the week before, but I'm really hoping that they do that, especially with all this coming into it, where they're like, "Hey, we want this revenge." Hopefully, this is that. If we can go in and take a ranked team and do a blowout, that would really show some stuff. Like it's like, okay, it feels like we're right in the ship going into the bye week. So hopefully that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, you want to do some questions, man?
No, I'm just kidding.
No?
I want. There's something else I forgot to mention earlier that I want to do before we get into questions, and I feel bad because I forgot to mention it. We forgot to talk about it last week. So, besides last week being the Weber game, it was also the Hall of Fame weekend, and a friend of mine and former teammate got inducted, and I feel bad because I forgot to say anything about it. And I was like, damn it. So, Dylan McFarland, our offensive tackle, number 72, who him and I played against each other in high school and stuff, and played through track against each other, then got to be on the same team together, was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I just want to say Dylan's, I mean, great guy. Him and his family are just awesome people. And last time I got to see him in person was down in Frisco, and it was great catching up with him. And just congratulations to Dylan for getting into the Hall of Fame. Like, I wasn't surprised at all when they announced that. So congratulations to him. Also, Gurns getting in.
That was awesome too.
Gurns is great, dude. I've known Gurns for years too, and just congratulations to Scott. And then, of course, Colt Anderson, another one that we knew eventually would get in there. Freaking Butte America, that's awesome.
The Butte missile.
Love getting those guys in there. Then also Kelly Pilcher, she got inducted for the Lady Grizz, Missoula girl, and then also George Dennison, they put him in there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but just I forgot to mention that, and just I got to see some of the videos and stuff that guys have posted, and I wish I could have been there to see Dylan getting inducted. That's just awesome. He's a great human, great person. So congratulations to all of them.
Exactly. One thing I gotta mention this too. Pink. It was the pink game, right?
Oh yeah.
What's up with the players not wearing pink?
I don't know. I was surprised about that. Like, because usually, like in the past, we've even done like the Grizz script and like the little ribbon. That was cool.
Yeah, like the decal.
Yeah, or like usually some like so. It was I went to a game that night too, and there was only one player. It was a D2 game, but only one player had pink on. The rest of them didn't. So
really,
yeah. But I tell you what, Monty, he was decked out. The fans, it looked great on TV.
Yeah, the fans were decked out in
shirts.
pink.
I should have worn mine tonight, but the pink shirts they were selling that at Shields and stuff, they looked awesome with the Montana roots and stuff. And that looked awesome. But I was really surprised that the team didn't have,
which was weird, right? You have a pink game and you don't wear pink.
Yeah, usually they have like the wristbands and stuff for who knows, maybe with the ports being closed, the stuff didn't show up. I don't know. I'm just joking.
I would think that they would have the decals like
right
on hand.
Yeah, you'd have something. So I don't know. I was surprised that they didn't.
It was weird.
Before, but like I said, I wasn't at the game to see all the extra stuff they did. I know that it looked cool on TV to see like the student section just covered in pink and stuff. So that means a lot to me. Having my wife as a breast cancer survivor and stuff. That's why I was so pumped when Annette sent those shirts up to us. But yeah. Nice way to show out student section. That's our student section has been killing it this year, by the way.
And they've been really good.
Stuff. Like, they're there all the time, and like Botner bringing the pizzas and stuff like that's. I love it seeing the student section, because there was a time there where the student section was kind of light, and
it was.
They're cranking now. Like they remind me like the SEC student sections that you see on TV.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Awesome. Keep it up, guys. So. Let's get some questions, because we've got a lot of questions.
We do have a lot of questions, and we're already at an hour and 37 minutes. We're gonna have a long pod tonight.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Don't be sorry. I know for me, like I always love the long pod. Like
it gives you something to listen to, not to look at.
About our friends at the Grizz fan pod for being long, and I'm one of the ones that's like, man, 3-hour pods all the time, because when I'm driving across South Dakota and Iowa, it's like gotta have something to listen to. So.
So we've got some on eGrizz here, and if you want to go down a rabbit hole, you get on eGrizz. It is booming there. Holy cow! I haven't
been on this week because I knew I figured there was some stuff going on.
Oh man! MT Grizz rule. What defensive changes do we make? If it were up to me, I'd be moving around Wilson and Harris a lot more. I'd also start Loud at cornerback. So. Me and I think Luke and I have both talked. You've got to play Loud more, if not start him.
Yeah, I agree. You need to get him on the field more.
I think you move Jackson to safety position,
or even nickel.
Like a nickel position. I say that you move Riley to either middle linebacker, and if he's not playing middle linebacker, he's on the opposite side rushing of Hayden Harris.
Yep, I think opposite side of Harris, and then Terrell on the same side as Harris.
Exactly. Yep, and then you make sure that you have Husted in there as well.
Yeah.
So if it's making sure that you have that fourth linebacker there.
We need to keep safety help over top. Like
Exactly.
keep it back there. Do not like there was times when there was no safety help, but I think the reason there wasn't is because our safety was in the wrong position.
And honestly, guys, the 3-3-5, it is predicated on being able to play man on the edge.
Yeah.
We can't play man.
No, we need to go more. We need to run more zone. And I think blitz more. Yeah. So we can put that quarterback on his back. He has a lot harder time throwing the ball. So let's get to the damn quarterback.
We do not have the coverage speed on our cornerbacks to be.
I think Jackson has the speed. He just doesn't know how to turn around.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He just doesn't turn around.
They're always. That's why he's getting pass interference because he's always right there. Yeah. And it's just it's like, dude, turn around.
So that's what I would change. And then play guys that want to actually tackle.
I think they want to tackle.
I know.
I don't know, man. Sometimes it's just.
The other one, Grizzman fan. The G5 American Athletic Conference, Conference USA, MAC, Mountain West Conference, and Sunbelt Conference is currently having talks to try to start their own playoffs. If the G5 actually get their own playoffs, do you feel it would be a good time to move up?
Yes.
I know a lot of money is usually needed to support moving up currently, but I feel the new lower tier NCAA Division I might be easier and cheaper transition. I feel the Grizz could easily be competitive in those conferences.
That happens.
Absolutely.
Yep. 100%.
And I think that the way that you are seeing the Montana schools kind of wait their time is they feel like this is going to happen, and they're kind of hoping that this will happen, that the G5 will kind of separate, and then that I think the NCAA will allow people to move into this other conference.
Hashtag Snowbelt.
Exactly. Because wouldn't you think that if you're moving into this other conference, the 5,000 to 5 million that it jumped, they're not going to ask for that, right? Because
that's what. If they change that completely, that 5 million is like, the FBS considering all the big boys and everything.
Yeah,
it used to be a lot less. They just changed that.
Exactly.
And so I think
with this new conference, with this new division, you could see those other schools where you would be probably at a lower fee, which you could probably get by either charging more student fees, charging more at the gate, or getting boosters to pay, right?
I mean, if Sac State can raise $35 million in a couple of days, you think
they did that in 24 hours.
24 hours, yeah.
And then they got another 15 in the other next 24. They got $50 million in like 2 days.
Yeah, I think that we could, pull some scratch together. So,
yeah.
But what's interesting is if that happens, really, I mean, they're creating a new 1AA or FCS. They're just calling it something different. You have the big boys, which is the power 5. Then you have the group of 5. So then what does FCS turn into? Like D2? And then, it's shifting everything back down the line. And so at that point, I do think that you may not see like us going to again, the Mountain West or something. It may be a whole new conference, like this whole snow belt, which has gotten some talking of there could be this new conference where it's us and the Wyomings and the Dakota schools, and not just like the Bison and the Jacks. Like it could be the Sioux and the Yotes too coming over, sort of thing.
So the only thing with that is that possible? Because you have to have, and I don't know with this new conference, if it's still going to be a Division I conference, you have to have a conference that has Division I status, right?
Right.
And so there's no other Division I status conference out there right now. But I don't know. I don't know if.
No, that's what I'm saying. You would have to basically get a new one, or I'm not sure.
Because I think that you have to have so many years in advance of being able to be a Division I conference.
Well, they could even take the whole Big Sky and bring it up there. Like that
could
happen. Like that could happen. So,
which that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. So I mean that's the thing. I mean that you could, because there's implications on it would be all that stuff. All those changes would be football only, because they're not going to do that with basketball. because with basketball, there's the Butlers of the world and stuff that compete, at that high level. And so it's just a football only thing.
You hope. I
That's
pray that they don't mess up basketball just for
there's
this
there's too much money in it. The
Oh my
NCAA,
gosh.
there's too much money in NCAA March Madness for them to screw with that. So that's why I think football is going to turn into its own thing almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's all really interesting, and I'm sure the border regions and the Kent Haslams of the world are all looking at it, and it's just kind of wait and see what happens. But if we do jump, we have to all of a sudden add a bunch of women's sports.
Yep.
Because if we add 30 more scholarships to football, well, you got to add that on their side too, which I think we could add swimming and lacrosse, there's a lot of things which is good too.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because all of a sudden we're adding more, female women's sports to University of Montana. Heck, I didn't realize this, but our rodeo team, it's not a Division I, but they're doing pretty good. There's a Facebook page you can follow now, Grizzly Rodeo. Yeah. It's pretty cool. So
and so are we Division I in the rodeo?
No, we're not. It's like a club thing. So
okay. Because
it's D1.
The neighbors aren't they?
They are. Yeah, they are.
So there's possibilities where we have the infrastructure. Yeah. Like hockey would be real easy.
Yeah.
Lacrosse would be.
We're already doing
really easy.
It's there's things like that would be
quick for women's sports. That would be easy. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
So that way you wouldn't have to. You don't need you already have the infrastructure there. Yeah. So,
well, and then now with the new bubble and stuff too, we can use that as more practice fields, facilities and stuff all year round. It's just it feels like more and more with all the stuff we're doing, we're getting closer to that. We're ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Okay. Well, we got sent one from Timothy here that I found here.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Timothy Pratt, thanks, man. He usually talks to us and gives us questions, so thank you, Timothy. Adam and Luke, please help me talk me off the ledge. I was positively optimistic at the beginning of the season, thinking that the Grizz could go 11-1 and 10 and worse, end at 10-2. We felt the same way. Now I hope we end up at 8-4, but there's a good chance we finish 7-5. My biggest question, especially for Luke, who has played football unlike myself, is the problem that coaching staff and bad play calling. We've been a team that has been known for toughness and tackling for years. Now it seems a veteran players and senior leadership can't tackle anymore. Sorry, I lost my spot. But once this is a failure of bad play calling or players, that's the lost their ability to do the most fundamental part of football. It is utterly embarrassing that last year's defense in conference play only gave up 116 points, and now we have the worst defense I've ever seen, and I have been faithful and active fan since 1990. Please help me, all the other listeners, because I'm rapidly losing my enthusiasm and confidence. Looking forward to a response this week on this week's podcast.
Well, don't lose your enthusiasm.
No.
Because we've lost 2 games by 1 score, which sucks, but we're still, our offense is killing it. They are, the amount of yards and the points and stuff they're putting up is awesome. So if we can get our defense to be just a little bit better, we could really do well here. Then we are tackling like crap. It's just it's bad. I don't understand some of it. I don't think it's an effort thing because, like I said, the one guy missed the tackle, got back up, and made the tackle further down the field. I don't know. Is some of it they're worried they're going to get penalized for targeting or something? I say, you know what? Don't worry about that. Worry about it if it happens. Just keep playing hard. And then I still feel like our guys are thinking too much. It's almost like we're asking them to do too much. Let's simplify it and just let them play football. Go look at each guy's strengths and just say, okay, this is like we were saying with Terrell. We feel like at outside linebacker position is where he excels at.
Yep.
So don't shift him over to the middle where he has to drop back because maybe he's just not that as talented right there. So I think they need to play to their strengths. And then who cares what year the player is? Whoever's the best player, play him. Put Loud out there. If he's the best corner, put him out there. If Prince Ford is good, but you don't like it because he talks crap in practice every day, who cares? Put him out there. Like,
exactly.
If he's the best player, we're at the point where it's like, you want to make the playoffs, you got to win out.
You got to win out.
If you want to make this stuff, you just quit holding guys back and playing cute. Play the best players and just go out,
Yep.
Get it done. So
it's going to be a little bit different, guys. Like, this is not going to be your traditional Grizz team where you're getting scores 42-10, 43-7. They're going to be in that 34-24 or 34-21. If on a good day. If not, it's going to be back and forth.
You're seeing that even like in the FBS, like in the SEC, like a lot of these big games. I mean, like I was watching that Miami game this weekend. It was like,
it's crazy. 39.
Yeah,
38.
They came back and threw up, and then like Vanderbilt being Bama and stuff. Like there was, like after our game, I was just like, man, this is crazy. And then I started looking at scores and was like, what the heck is going on in college football this weekend?
Yeah.
I mean, even in the FCS, a bunch of ranked teams went down. It was like,
I had that picture. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah,
I had a picture of like the teams. Where's it at? Number 7, number 8, which is us, number 5, number 12, 19, 21, 22, 23, and 25 all went down last week.
A bunch of teams. It was just like, and that's our FCS. The FBS did the same thing. It was just wild. Like, that Cal Miami game, I stayed up late watching that. Just like, what is
nuts? Yeah, I checked that game and it was like 38-10, and then I woke up in the morning and I was like, 39-38? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, wild game. One of my buddies, DP, he was at the game.
Wow.
He just played corner for us. Him and his family were U fans, all about the U. I was rooting for the U. I like the U, man. I know a lot of people don't like him, but
that's crazy that they. I saw something on like Facebook or something like that. Their equipment truck travel like 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
Across, isn't that nuts for a conference game?
For a conference game, new alignment. I mean, think about that. Florida all the way to the from the east
coast to the other.
That's just
that's nuts.
So like you almost have to have like 2 sets of pads and everything for every player, because like after that game's over, that truck driver's got to get back, and you're flying back for practice.
Yeah,
the stuff. Hopefully the stuff's there by Monday, but that's just I mean, truckers, they can only drive for 13 hours. I mean, that's like a 2-day drive at least to get out.
That's not going to get there in time.
No. So,
wow. So I didn't think about that.
Better go up because you got to have double the pads and everything, and unis.
Or they just bring all that stuff back on their pads on the flight.
Well, that's why you have the truck. It's bringing all that stuff back. That's why we have our big Grizz truck too. It's crazy. Yep. It's wild.
Nuts. Well, that's all the questions on. I didn't think I had any on Twitter.
I've got more here.
And then that's all on eGrizz.
All right. So my buddy Brock up in Alaska, he asked the question. He said, what is with the swinging gate? I have never understood it. Why can't they just line up and own the defense in the short yardage game? So like Bobby,
it worked once, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And like his thing with the whole swinging gate is so that other teams have to practice it. Like that's why he likes to run that. But I'm on Brock's side. I always thought it's just like gimmicky and dumb. Like I'm like, man, just line up and run, pound the freaking ball in, or just because like sometimes I think it can be too cute. Like same with like I know like the team likes it, and like this whole razzle dazzle, toss it to Junior, and Junior throws the ball and all this happy horse shit, and I'm just like, man, there's just so much chance there for like us to drop the ball or something to go wrong that I'm like, especially in a tight game, I'm like, if you're blowing people out, okay, do the razzle dazzle stuff, but like it's something like that, I'm like, man, come on, especially when your offense is humming, I'm like, you don't need to do that fancy stuff, just put it in.
So, well, I'm just like, you have Osmo and you have Gilman as your running backs, and you only need 2 yards.
And the way that they're running with behind our whole line, it's like, why not just pound it?
Yeah.
I don't get it. So,
I don't either.
Let's see here. Okay, so Tad Brennan was asking, he's like, hey, can you guys address Weber's last TD on the pod? From the north end zone, it looked like he went out of bounds and back in. Is that legal or is it allowed? So
should have been a touchdown.
I've got a little something I'm going to read here. All right. So any receiver who has by any means gone out of bounds may not catch or be the first to touch any pass. Reestablish himself in bounds makes the pass complete, but his touching of the pass remains illegal. The change is underlined in previous years. When the penalty was a loss of 5 yards, while the down would be replayed. In 2016, there is no yardage to the penalty, but a team cannot replay the down. So the rule is supposed to be enforced as follows: if a receiver is out of bounds, it's a dead ball, incomplete pass. If the receiver is in the field of play but did not reestablish in bounds, it's dead ball and incomplete. If the receiver reestablishes and is the first to touch the pass, it's a live ball foul. The down continues until the ball is dead. If penalty is accepted, return to the previous line of scrimmage and increment to the next down. If the receiver reestablishes and touches or catches a tipped pass, it's a live ball, no foul. Once the ball is tipped, all 22 players are eligible. So in this case, the guy goes out of bounds, and it doesn't look like he's forced at all. Our guy falls down, basically.
Well, didn't he push him, though? That wouldn't have mattered, though.
It doesn't matter. It goes out of bounds. It goes around the pylon, and it looks to me like he never even reestablished in bounds. He jumps from out of bounds, catches the ball, then lands in the end zone.
Yeah.
And they say touchdown. But either way, it shouldn't have been it because it wasn't tipped, nothing like that. It should have been, okay, that play doesn't count, redo the play.
Wouldn't have been a loss of down, though?
Loss of down, and then it would have been fourth down, and they probably would have just kicked the field goal. Yeah. And who knows if we fumble it again the next play anyways, but either way, it was wrong. But I mean, like, part of the thing is like we have replay now, but I still don't think we have enough cameras out there. Like, we don't have the cameras that like ESPN does and all this.
No.
I mean, it's better. Like, they have the hood, but it's still like, if they can't see that, or is it like an education thing? These refs not know?
Well, and they reviewed that too
for a long time, and you should have whoever the guy in the booth is, he should have the damn rule book right there so he can refer to it. Like the guy in the review booth should be able to go, all right, page 17, article 6. Yeah, no, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But
so I don't understand why they stood by that call.
I don't either.
And I haven't heard anything.
Like the get out of jail call stands. We don't know what we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing.
That's what it felt like. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We didn't see it. We can't change that.
We don't know what the call is here. So it's like that's why it took so long. Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know either. Bobby's gonna be really pissed. Well, they get the ball back. Well, all right, they'll probably score. Their offense is score. Okay. We'll just see it stands. That's what we
just need a gimme.
Like, I wish I could hear what they were saying, because it's like, what were they saying? Like, man, I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. I've never seen this before. I can't remember. Yeah.
And
we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
And anyways, we shouldn't have been at that point, no matter what. Like there's so many things that we could have done better.
I still think we could have
play calling
lockout at the end, and they wouldn't even have a chance to kick the field goal, and we won in regulation. So,
well, we get a field goal at that right before halftime, or a touchdown right before halftime that swings that. We missed that. We actually kick a PAT instead of going for a 2-point failed conversion.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of iffy calls that could have swayed that game. But it's just ifs and buts. We're candies and nuts. We'd all have a Merry Christmas. So, right?
I'd never heard that before.
You've never heard of that?
Never heard that before. You said that earlier to me before we did the pod. And I was like, man, I've never heard that one.
It's a family favorite. Any other ones you got there?
Yep, I've got another one. I got a lot more questions there. I'll just keep rolling here. So,
all right, we're going on 2 hours, man.
All right, here we go. I'm trying to compete with our boys at the GFP. They said that we had rookie numbers before, so we're trying to increase the numbers a little bit.
Trying to get up
All
there.
right. So Tyler Martin, he asked. He said, so Tyler's way into recruiting, like, and he does
he
a
is.
dang good job of following all the recruits and stuff. And like
Yep.
if you ever want to know about that stuff, hit him up on Twitter. Like he does a great job following the recruiting. So he says we brought in 20 transfers this year, with the likes of NDSU bringing in 2 and SDSU 0 that he can see. He says, does the transfer portal expose us in lack of recruiting the guys, or are we just bringing in guys that can't play at this level? As stated on the Grizz fan pod, the Cats' entire 2 deep on defense could probably start for the Grizz this year. I didn't know they said that. I haven't listened to it yet.
I haven't listened to it yet either.
We missed on a lot of those kids because they were from Montana, and even missed on some Missoula kids. I guess my question is, why do we have to go to the portal so much to replace guys? Do we not have the coaches or personnel to develop guys within the program? Also, bonus question, why the hell isn't Gilman getting 20 to 25 touches a game? I agree. If they think they're trying to hold Gilman back, like, because, we got to save him. Okay, great. Now you can't anymore.
Now you can't.
We need to win every game. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to achieve the goals that you guys want to achieve. So play the damn best players. But like, I agree. Like you look at a team like Colorado that went to the transfer portal. There's some other ones that bring all these players in. Well, when you do that, like, it's hard. I think it's hard to build that continuity as a team. And that's one thing I always liked about the FCS is like you develop players. That class that comes in, you're with that class all the way through. Like, and you lose guys like myself. I got hurt, and you might do something different with the program, or other guys get hurt. Like we had another guy get hurt, and then he was working with our lifting coaches. But like as far as transfers, you don't see that many because you used to get penalized and stuff. And we'd only get a couple that would get to transfer over. Now there's so many, and so it's like, how do you build that bond and that trust? And that's where I've been talking about a lot this year is that trust. Like on defense, you got to trust the other guys.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like they're not doing that, and that trust isn't there like we had last year. Like they all trusted each other so much, and so it makes it much more difficult, I think, to get that continuity and that that trust on defense or even offense. Like most of our offensive players, there's not that many transfers, right?
No. Well, and you mentioned it. You mentioned it last time too. Yeah, you mentioned it last time too that this system requires a lot, and so you throw new guys in it, and you're going to get kind of what you get because they don't know the system.
I know like Bobby's big on saying like, well, we don't recruit guys unless they've been to our camp. Well, all these guys in the transfer portal haven't been to your camps and stuff, and so then you're relying on like other coaches and stuff and people and it's like interviewing. Like I've been interviewing for my work lately, and it's like you have an hour interview with someone and you're reading their resume, and then you have them take a test and you're like, well, I think this person's good. It's like, but you don't really know until you get them there. And so you kind of look at all that stuff and you're like, okay, look at their film and look at this, and you're trying to understand. You think, okay, I think they'll fit this spot for us, but until they get here and you see how they play with the other teammates and stuff, you don't know.
But that's the thing is that one of my things is recruiting wise, I think we do a good job in certain areas, and I think we do a horrible job in certain areas. I think that when he says that is an outdated look on football. That you cannot just say, well, we're only going to recruit the people that we can lay eyes on and that are at our camps. I'm sorry, not a lot of people know where Montana is,
and that's kind of BS too. we found out that he goes down to the San Diego State camp at some of these other camps, and that's where he saw some of these other guys,
Ty Morrison and Kyle.
I think that's where they saw Brooks Davis, like that we got too. They saw him down there. Some of these, and so and Loud too. I think it was down at one of those San Diego camps.
Yeah. So,
I just
it's an outdated way to look at football and recruiting, and like also. One thing we haven't looked at with development, we have a new safeties. Tim Houck is new. You have Linehan.
Well, he was here last year, but he was the,
Yeah,
now
he wasn't coaching the
he was the
safeties
defensive
though.
analyst. Yeah.
And then you have Linehan, who I think was here last year, right? The defensive
The D-line
line
coach.
coach.
Yep. Because that was
So
the guys who were doing offense stuff for.
so you guys, you've got two coaches that might be kind of implementing their own kind of schemes and their concepts. I think that the I call them the DSUs, NDSU, SDSU. They're doing it right. If you can kind of hold their talent, but in I always like every year we always say, oh, it's linebacker U, right?
Yeah.
Linebacker U, we don't have to worry about it. Well, you lost pretty much a starter from all account from Genetone that probably would have been a big lift.
He would have been a big contributor for us. Yeah, that was a big loss. Yeah.
And then you have Geno Leonard that got hurt. That just tears up your.
Because Leonard, he would have been damn good this year.
He would have been really good. And so I think that we kind of we haven't, and a lot of people are going to be pissed off that I say this. We have not developed a quarterback since 2011. Jordy Johnson.
Shouldn't be pissed. We haven't. That's why we should start Ayat.
Exactly. We haven't developed, and you can say Gradney. We've developed Gradney and stuff like that. But where do we go most often in the transfer portal for?
DBs and stuff.
DBs. Yeah. Defensive line and quarterback.
I was glad to see that we're recruiting Texas because, like, as much as I love that we recruit Montana kids, if we want to still play at the highest level, like, we have to go get the best talent. And nothing against Montana kids. I mean, I was a Montana kid. I mean, a lot of us have to be walk-ons. And, you know, I mean, if, you know, you're not always going to find those Mark Marianis and stuff. No. We try to, and we've done a hell of a job of finding those guys. But, you know, at what point, especially if we were to move up, like, we're not going to probably have as many Montana kids on the team. Like,
no, and I think that you still will see those. Will we have 45% of our offense our offensive or our whole team? No, but
dang near half our team, which I think is awesome. But at the same time, it's like if we want to be competitive, you still got to go after the best players. So
and that's the thing too is right now in college football, with Montana changing from a agriculture to kind of more of a tourism kind of destination, you know, you're not getting these offensive line dudes that are on the farm, right? You're not getting those dudes. And some of the dudes that are getting picked up are going to the Mountain West or going to
some of our
the
big
talent. The talent is being kind of
they're not staying. They're going elsewhere. They're going to the FBS schools, the Mountain West schools.
So instead of getting the top talent, you're getting the second tier talent to there.
Yeah. Like a great example, like the Dylan McFarlands of the world. Dylan played for us, then went on to the pros, like Proctor and like, you know, John Skinner and Derek Decker. I mean, it was like Brian Pelk. I mean, we had these guys that were just big freaking dudes from Montana that you know were immovable objects. Thatcher Zalay. I mean, just like holy shit. These were bad men on offensive line. It's like holy cow. I mean, and we try to get those guys. I mean, luckily, like we're getting like the Brandon Casey's. I mean, he was getting recruited by Oregon State and stuff. So we're finding guys, but it's just getting harder. And so, you know, I mean, I don't think the transfer portal, even though it's there, is always the answer. It's like the quick fix. It's like, you know, it's this quick fix thing that you think is going to do it. And really, I think the smart play is develop players over time. So.
Well, and that's the hard case with this coaching staff is they have had a hard time developing talent. And I'll be honest, I really don't think that they have developed talent very well. Because if you look at it in certain areas where we've gotten hurt, the talent drops off. In certain areas, I don't think they've developed.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I just think it takes a lot of time to develop because I was really hoping last year with that playoff run that we'd see a lot more development because guys had more practice time and everything. And I think we have on the offense, like we've seen a lot of leaps and bounds there. I just think we have just a lot of I don't know. Something's up with that defense we need to fix it. If it is it's the fact that it's just too complex, then dumb it down and let them play football. So, so this next question comes from Griff. He similar to what we were just talking about. He said, when are the Grizz / Hout going to be done with the co-coaching? It has never worked out for us. And we touched on that. I agree. I think that they just need to say, okay, you're the defensive coordinator. You decide. This co-coordinator thing always seems to be anytime you see it, and I think in a program, it just doesn't seem to work. It's like, like I said, my little analogy: too many kings in the kitchen. Right?
I like that. Too many kings in the courtyard.
Yeah. So okay. All right. So this last question came to us from Austin. It's long, but I'm going to read the whole thing because we kind of touched on it already. But I'm going to read it out there just so people kind of think about it. My question for both of you is about recruiting. I love seeing Montana kids get the chance to play at the FCS level. Currently, about 50 of the 115 players on the roster are from Montana. That's about 43% of the roster. Do you feel Montana kids legitimately produce enough talent to hold 50 spots? For example, NDSU has less than 25 in-state kids. Should the recruiting focus be based solely on talent and fit going forward? I'm looking at this more championship-based. We can't quite ever get over that hump. I personally feel that the game has changed and evolved to a point where a handful of Montana kids truly have the size and enough talent to compete, not 50. Excuse me, especially with MSU in the mix as well. What are your thoughts? Excuse me. So I agree. Like back in the day when we were piss pounding the Cats like 16 years in a row, we didn't have to compete with them as much. Now we do. Now it's legit. I mean, it's a legit rivalry. And as much as I hate to say it, I mean, they're doing better than us this year. And each year we're both competing at that high level, which makes it much more difficult to compete for those kids that are the best and top talent in Montana. Not to mention the Washington States of the world, the Boise's, the Wyomings, even NDSU, they're coming in our backyard and trying to recruit and stuff like this, especially with that, they're bordered right up there to Eastern Montana. And so it's just much more competitive than it used to be, especially with like Twitter and all this stuff, like instant contact with these kids, where it used to be, you're not going to know that kid that's playing 8-man or Class B football and stuff. And that's just a super athlete we can go get. And like you mentioned, like the big farm kids and mountain kids and stuff, like these kids growing up in the mountains that are tough as nails, that are just big dudes that no one knows about, but you do because you're the lone school in Montana and they're going to go to Montana because that's what they've been their dream and stuff. And so it's just getting more difficult, I think, to keep those kids and to find all those kids. And so, we're going to need, are we going to always be able to have that many? I think it's awesome. People love that. But, at some point we're going to have to look elsewhere. So.
Well, and I do agree with that because I totally think that if we're moving up and honestly, if we're going to continue and kind of go after championships, things have to change. I don't think we're going to have 50 of the 113 or 50 of the 80, whatever, 85 or whatever it is. Because I don't think that you can do that because honestly, with all the great teams that you're thinking about, the DSUs, even the neighbors, what do they pride themselves on?
Offensive line
and defensive line. Okay. Exactly. We have not put that much as a focus on that part and developing that part. And
I think we have on the offensive line. I feel like
this last year we have. The last couple of years we have.
Yeah.
But it's taken us a while to get there. And I think this new offensive line coach might get us there.
And I think on the D line we had Governor, and that's a once in a lifetime talent, and that
exactly
how much a difference he made this year. So
and I think that our focus instead of recruiting, because we don't like NDSU guys, they make their offensive line guys recruited. They make sure that they are on billboards and everything.
Oh yeah,
they know who's going to get them wins.
Yeah, they're the guys that get all the NAL deals over there.
Exactly. And so they know where to go. They know they have to get an offensive line and defensive line. Yeah. I just think that that's going to be somewhere we're going to have to figure it out. we're not going to probably have those Montana guys. Now, this could totally change too. If we're in an upper division in the G5 or whatever you want to call it, and we're battling Wyoming or Nevada or, why wouldn't someone, if you can get them to this campus of Missoula,
exactly.
if you can get them there and you can kind of, nurture that relationship, and there's no reason why you can't compete and recruit with those.
I think it opens up your recruiting. I mean, there's nothing Bobby likes more than pulling kids out of someone else's backyard. Like, he's loved doing that for years. And the thing is, too, I like the comment I heard about like Brandon Casey. He's closer to Missoula than kids from Plentywood or Sydney. I mean, like, Montana's such a big state and we're far on the west side. It's like kids that grew up in northern Idaho or eastern Washington are actually closer than most kids in Montana. And so, like,
well, how far is like Spokane or Seattle? Like, that's got to be
Spokane's only 3 hours from
Missoula. So you're looking
another 7 to Seattle.
Yeah.
So it's not that. I mean, like, really, it's not that much farther than if you were going to drive to Alzada, Montana. Like, done that drive many times. It's way, or if you're going to drive up the High Line there, up to like Plentywood or Hysham or something. I mean, Montana's a big ass state.
Yep.
And it's, and the thing is too about that, like the states like South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, they're the lowest populated states in the nation, like our entire country. And so, like, it's going to be harder to find that upper end talent. We're going to have to go to other areas and stuff. It's some of that's just inevitable. But the one thing is I do think we will always pull, if there is the top talent, like we always have a shot at them. Like, even if they, have a chance to go to the big dogs, it's like we're always going to have that shot just because we're there's no pro teams. We're the number one game in town. So,
I hope that we get some Hawaiian offensive linemen guys.
We used to, like Kamakana, he was,
and
then like D-line, Kelly Bryant.
Yep.
Man, that guy, like, I remember going in one time and he benched 550 pounds. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. I remember doing the 225 competition. I remember repping out like 18 and Kelly sat down and like, I think he hit 50 and they're like, yeah, you can put it down.
Oh my God.
Just put it down. Like, Jesus. I mean, the guy was just unbelievable. Crazy. I mean,
oh my God.
We lost him a few years ago.
Oh man.
Just he was a heck of an athlete. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think that's all the questions I had. I'm just looking through here real quick, making sure.
I know we didn't have any on Twitter, I don't believe.
Wait here. Nope, not that one. Sorry, I'm just jumping through.
No problem.
Timothy's, right? Yeah, we got Timothy.
Yeah, we got his.
Yep, we got that one. Try not to miss anybody.
I know, right?
Let's see here. No, I can run the damn ball. Yeah. It's I don't know. Some of that's just it's funny how much more questions we get when we lose. I guess I prefer we don't get a lot of questions. That means we're winning. But our pods, we're at over 2 hours, and it's like a lot to talk about, I guess.
That's awesome. But, well, hey guys, those are all the questions we got. So thank you for the questions. We really appreciate it. We really do.
Absolutely.
We love people reaching out to us and connecting with us. So keep on doing that, even in wins and losses. We love it. So continue doing that. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. I haven't checked how many reviews we've had, but give us a 5-star rating if you like us. Even if you haven't, I know there are a lot of you out there that love this podcast that have not given us a 5-star. Come on now, let's be honest. Come on.
Adam's over here telling it. Come on, give us that 5 star.
Let's go. So definitely give us a 5-star. And then also you can get on YouTube on FCS Fans Nation.
Yeah.
You can hit us up there as well to see these beautiful mugs. There's also some other podcasts on there as well.
If you want to talk smack to other teams, they love
there you go too
on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of neighbor fans on there that love to comment.
They love bashing on us and stuff.
Yeah. or commenting on our artwork done
Yeah.
by
My daughter. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like,
that's real cool.
yeah.
How about you worry about your team?
I know exactly.
Good Lord.
Jackhole.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Did you see Leighlou's this week? She
It was awesome.
yeah, I thought it turned out pretty good. She's every week she gets a little better and better, but
She's doing awesome. And I
just,
appreciate it because it's one less thing
right.
off our
And
plate.
reiterate what Adam said, like, we really appreciate you all
Yes.
listening. Like, I think it's pretty cool. Like, we're just a couple of fans too right now. It's
exactly.
like the fact that people enjoy this, that's pretty damn awesome. So
exactly. Well, until next week, guys. Hopefully we're on better terms than this week, and
we're gonna win. Damn it,
we're gonna win.
Kick their ass.
Go Grizz, baby.
Go Grizz.